32 minutes, 21 seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Space Boy Universe, featuring Space Boy and the lovely Solana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations, I'm Space Boy.
I'm Solana.
And she's far away from the mic, and this is Space Boy Universe, and it is December 23rd, 2017, and tonight we're going to have like a year-end review and some music, so kick back, relax, chat with us on the chat room, and it'll be all good in the neighborhood. As always, if you want to follow us, you can do so by going to Twitter, that's at the SBU Universe. Follow us, and that is Solana at Solana. Follow me, that's Space Boy at Space Boy Music. Of course, follow the network that brings you all this fine content, and that's at the SBU Network. Now remember, if you want to hang out with the Space Cadets, you also should hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag Space Cadets and hashtag SB Universe. But getting back to hanging out with the Space Cadets, you can do so by going to spaceboyuniverse.com, click on the dancing chat bubble in the player, and that will get you in with all the cool kids. In addition to Twitter, you can find us on the universe, in the universe, and everywhere in the universe on Facebook, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Just look for Spaceboy Universe. Speaking of YouTube, you can find more than the Spaceboy Universe of archive of shows. There's Spaceboy content everywhere, and that's video content, that is music content, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. You know, if you can't catch a show live, it is not a problem. Just tune in and take the SBU on the go with you via Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, and, of course, YouTube, if you have YouTube Red. And that is the way we like to roll in broadcasting. So, without further ado, how are you tonight, Solana?
Just to preface that, you don't have to have YouTube Red, just YouTube. But
well,
it's a nice thing to have.
If you want to turn off your phone and let it continue to play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
otherwise
how
you have to.
Without it.
Yeah, so.
But then YouTube is like 80% of my entertainment, really. So.
Well, I think it's more than just your 80% of your entertainment. It's kind of both of our entertainment.
Well, I read too, so.
I mean, we watch an excessive amount of YouTube.
We do.
I mean, as soon as I get home, it's like the first thing that comes on from work. Is YouTube. We're watching fail videos, mostly car crashes. There's something hypnotic about watching car crashes on TV.
You think you've had a bad day. Watch this guy.
It's quite entertaining because it's almost kind of like pick your own adventure, or pick what happens next. And as you're watching the cars, you don't know. Usually, the dead giveaway, Solana, is there's that one particular Russian car that has been around forever since I can remember watching old spy movies and stuff like that has been produced over there, and usually that's the dead giveaway of which car is going to be in the accident.
Yeah. Hi, Gene. Merry Christmas. If I seem blah tonight, it's not because I'm unenthusiastic. I woke up with a headache. I've been fighting it all day. It will not go away. I took something for it. It's just laughing at it, and so I'm still dealing with it.
So, there you go. Solana doesn't feel good. And so,
Sorry.
Cut her a break. But, hey, Gene, I'm glad you tuned in tonight because Patrick Sporer has been all over me to make sure to tell you this. Recently, when he was on, I guess there was the 111 prediction. Well, get this, Gene. 11 days within that broadcast, in the Florida Lotto, pick 3, it came up. So there you go. It was kind of freaky when he sent me the email, but the 111 paid off, and that particular number set hadn't been played or used on the pick 3 since 2015 on the Lotto there in Florida. So just an interesting little thing I wanted to throw at you, and I promised I would go ahead and bring that up for Patrick. But, Patrick has really been up in his game lately. He's doing these videos now where he's posting it on his YouTube site. And if anybody gets a chance, you should definitely check out YouTube with Patrick's thing. I don't have the YouTube link right now, but I'm sure Solana can dig it out between here and there, or we'll get some kind of information flow in from him and kind of go from there. Now, before the show started, hold on, let me get something primed here and ready. We bought some, I guess, dinner, if you will, from Jack in the Box. Solana bought more of a milkshake than she bought dinner, but
When I have a headache, for some reason I want ice cream. I don't know, it's because of cold or something, but...
So anyway, we went to Jack in the Box, and so I got me a little pita, and then I got me a burrito. I was going to plan on eating it for breakfast, but I thought, the pita was kind of smaller than I expected. So I ended up eating my burrito, and sure enough, as I'm getting through almost to the end, I bit down, and I thought, what just happened? I felt like I just broke a tooth or something, and I felt it all the way up into my eye socket. I mean,
Lord, geez.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you laughing at
Wow.
this.
No, I'm just saying that's pretty extreme.
Yeah, so...
I'm not laughing
Okay.
at you.
But still, it was...
I'm laughing around you.
Oh, okay, I see. So what happened is I pulled this little piece of metal out of my mouth, and, well, I kind of spit it out, but, and it was like... I was like looking at it, and I was thinking, thank God I didn't bite at it at a certain angle. It felt like I bit on it flat, but I mean, that thing
You put it on Twitter, didn't you?
Yeah, it's on Twitter. I made sure to include Jack in the Box, and because it made me, it did not go over well. First off, I was looking forward to my burrito, only to be utterly metally disappointed. Metally. It's a word I just made up. I know. And so, obviously, it gets my goat. And,
well, yeah, I would think so.
So I recorded it. But, the thing is, there was a few people on Facebook say, well, you should sue. You should sue.
No, I mean, this happens. You can't help it.
The thing is that my liabilities out of this, I'd have to prove that I suffered some kind of, some damages. I'm not bleeding or anything, but, the top of my jaw. I tell you what, I probably won't be eating Jack in the Box anytime soon again.
Yeah,
so
that's kind of
and it just so it kind of bums me out. And
but
so if you want to take a look at what I chomped down on, on the Twitter wall, it's on the Universe and Spaceport Music.
I retweeted it myself.
Mm-hmm. And so,
well, speaking of putting your stuff on Twitter, here in Houston, there's a local liquor store chain called Specs. They have like a bunny rabbit wearing spectacles as their mascot. So you had graciously blessed me with some Christmas gifts, which I'll go ahead and admit to you, God, and the whole world, I don't deserve because I've been bad. And so you bought me a bottle of Bailey's, right? Mm-hmm. Bailey's Irish Cream Caramel. So you got it at Specs, and you brought it home. You got the paper bag that's got the Specs logo on it. So our cat, Muffin, thought this was just the best Christmas gift ever because she played in the paper bag. So she was deep into the paper bag with just her little butt sticking out. And I took a photo of it, and I tweeted it at Specs, and they liked it. So I thought, hey, kudos for me.
Well, either that or our cat's an alcoholic. I mean,
yeah, she does look like a bit of a lush in that photo because she looks like she's trying to going deep
into that bag.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, so I was gonna be drinking that tonight while we did this, but I already have a headache, so you're just gonna have to take me stone cold sober and
probably would have made you feel better. I mean,
you think so?
Cut the edge off of your headache that you've been having.
Wouldn't it add to it?
The thing is, okay, first off, last night, if you missed it, it's out there, and you can check our whatever social media. Maybe we'll put a link out there. But we were on our friend of the show, Solaris Blue Raven, and we had a really good time. We spent 2 hours with her on her channel, and Hyperspace, and which is on KCOR. Yeah. Which we're big fans of.
KCORradio.com.
And Tina Maria over there, very, very great person. She's another fan of the show. And we thank them both for making us feel so welcome on their network and on that show. And, of course, we had a great time. So we ended up talking after the show. So in other words, we didn't get to bed until about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the morning.
That probably didn't help.
And so that next morning, I'm well, yeah, I guess you're splitting hairs, but that's fine. So I get up I normally do when I get up every morning about 7 or 8 in the morning, and I'm like, OMG, I feel so hungover, like a train just hit me, and I didn't. It's not like I did anything.
No, I think it's because the weather got colder, and we're just this far in the south. We're just not. I don't know if we're like physically equipped for things to be cooler weather, and I think maybe the barometric pressure changed, and I can't handle it. So it's definitely a sinusy thing. So
it's because I felt it right, between my eyes and things.
That's exactly where I had it.
And so I was like, basically, like I said, I got up, did some business, and I said, you know what, I can't take this. I'm going back to bed. And so I laid there for a few more hours. I really passed out and got up at about 10 trying to wake you up so we can go grocery shopping.
Oh, my gosh. We tried to go grocery shopping. We got to the store. We're just in the parking lot. And I said, my anxiety, I have actual anxiety that I take medication for. I've been off my meds. I just got them refilled yesterday. And I said, I can't do this. My anxiety is going to overdrive. I've got the headache. I mean, I just about pitched a fit in the car, didn't I? It's like, I can't do it. I was going crazy. So, and he said, well, screw it. Let's just go have Chinese food and go home. I said, yeah, there's a plan.
It was good, but I'm telling you, you went through your food just like, phew.
I didn't realize I was hungry.
I was like, I was slowly eating, pacing myself. And,
oh, God, you took forever.
And, I was like, and then by the time I got to the end, I was like, holy smokes, I have to shift gears here. I think you wanted to
so slow.
You wanted to make a run to Walmart, but I said, you know what?
No, I was wanting to go home.
I said at that point, I was, let's go home. It is what it is. Hey, I just want to shout out to new people that when they come to the show, this is a warm welcome to Tommy. Space Cadets, make sure Tommy feels welcome. Give him that good old Space Cadet howdies and make sure they feel welcome. We always like new people in the chat room, so
please don't text and drive.
Yes, Kay.
That's actually illegal now in Texas. If they catch you.
But welcome, Tommy. We appreciate you. Hopefully you become a full-fledged space cadet.
But, we had a great time last night on Hyperspace with Solaris because she's our buddy. She's our friend. And their chat rooms are very warm and welcoming, and we had a good time. And, of course, as usual, as much as we love talking to her, it will always devolve into him and me. I got mad at you because you said you wouldn't carry my brain in a jar. If something were to happen and, I said, well, you're not committed to this marriage as I thought you were, so, because you won't take my brain around in a jar after my body's gone.
I think there's a point when you have to cross a line. It's almost, that's death till we part,
She was talking about wanting to live off world, take her body and live off world, and I'm like, well, if I can go without my body, why wouldn't you do that?
Well, I mean, you could
put it in a little Ziploc or something in your consciousness and just stick it in there.
Okay. I don't think they haven't quite perfected the storage of a human brain in a Ziploc bag. And so, it's not like, hey,
sure, it sounds stupid when you
I'm
say it.
I'm going to go be surfing with the aliens and, they could just take my brain in a Ziploc bag. How, that sounds so like, I'm on a street corner and I've got the London Bridge to sell you, kind of thing, you know. I know you're holding back. And you want to
You're
laugh.
pouring out the London Bridge on a street corner.
Well, when you have to, and
Technically,
and times are tight.
isn't that bridge like in Arizona?
It
or
is in
something?
Arizona, yeah. So there you go.
Wait, I should look into that story. I don't know that whole story.
Well, anyway, so there you go. You were off, kind of going off the deep end
so
of that.
Let me tell you about my little accomplishment I did. Was it yesterday? Day before yesterday? It's Friday. Well, no, it's Friday. I actually sat down and watched The Force Awakens. Yes, I know it's been a year. I'm like, boy, am I behind the times? But you know what I think it was?
At least you finally watched it.
Well, you know what I think it was?
What?
As much as I'm over Star Wars, the whole thing, I still have this bubble in my head because I was of the generation that saw 4, 5, and 6 in theaters when they were new, because I'm that old. So
Excuse me.
I don't think I wanted to break the bubble on my childhood. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see 1, 2, and 3?
I saw 3. I did not see 1 and 2 because I heard they were like Snoresville. So I saw 3 with you in the theater. So I just didn't want to break the seal of my childhood,
My Darth Vader imitation.
So I watched it, and I was like, hey, this was pretty good. It never slowed down. It was fast-paced. They didn't really say how much time had passed, but I guess, you can see how old people are in that movie, how much time has passed. And you kind of knew when you watched 4, 5, and 6 that Leia and Han weren't going to be a forever thing, because they're too volatile people,
I don't think they're necessarily too volatile. I think that she's so committed to the rebellion, and that aspect.
But let me tell you, and I'm not just saying this because she's passed on. Carrie did fantastic. She did a fantastic job acting in the movie.
And
it was very toned down.
Yeah.
You could sense her sorrow and
very,
regret.
very short.
Yeah.
And she got more in the more recent movie. And full disclosure, I
sad.
still haven't seen it, but we can talk a little bit in just a second. But yeah, it was great to see her. But the thing is that Han Solo was like, you remember when I saw the preview when it came out, and it was like, ooh.
Yeah, you got all fanboy teary-eyed, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
I was excited about that.
Yeah, I know it was sad when he was killed, but I know that Harrison Ford was loving it because he wanted to be done with it.
He wanted to do a death scene, back, I guess, when they did 3, 4.
Yeah, he wanted to get. But now, isn't Luke also supposed to,
Well, that's the new movie. I can't know. You know how?
Well,
okay, hold on. This is a River Song moment. You know what I mean by that?
No, because I didn't see Dr.
She's
Who.
always saying, spoiler, sweetie. And so we can't really give too much away because people out there still haven't seen it. We have
I'll
this.
probably wait a year and see it.
Here's our policy about movies. We should wait at least a month before we spoil it and bring it out there, because I feel a month is an acceptable time period to spoil a movie. Because it gives everybody a chance. Hey, you've had your chance to go see it. So, I still haven't seen it yet. And although I haven't seen it, I've already seen the spoilers for the movie, only just so I could understand where some of the criticisms are coming, so I could be prepared to see the movie. Now, I'm not buying into this thing where I've read some of the reviews where, oh my God, this is the best Star Wars ever. I can't believe it. It's better than all 6 of them. I'm not, or 7, depending on how you look at it. I'm not going to buy that right now. I think that's just somebody
I'm just not as invested
that's
in it anymore.
just too over, fanboyed or fangirled out of their mind, and they just can't get enough of it. No, I'll give you an honest opinion when I go see it, and but at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to it. It's like I told you the other day, I guess we were kind of talking, are we going to wait to see it at home, or are we going to wait? No, I said, this is the kind of movie you got to go see at the theater.
By yourself?
Probably. I don't think I've driven.
I can't go.
In fact, the only person
to a movie that's
out of
that
our
popular.
relationship currently who has dragged somebody to a movie lately has been you.
Because of riff tracks, probably.
And then I'm not going to say that I don't hate that, but it is something that you wanted to see and we went to go see.
Yeah, but you enjoyed it too. and I paid for it.
But you brought me to the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I will let everybody know that.
But you want points for that or something?
You see how, one, you're so selfish, and then two, you get so, like, when I do things, I do it out of the loving kindness of my own heart, and then it's like you are like, what? You should just be blessed that you got a chance to sit with me at a theater.
That's true. Well, the thing is, with a movie like Star Wars, how popular is that movie? How packed will the theaters be? I can't sit next to another human being, which is why us going to a movie is getting shorter between, it's just, I can't. People suck, and I can't stand them.
No, I understand. That's why we mostly go to.
They just ruin everything. They sit next to you.
When we usually go to a movie, it's on a Sunday. It's usually the first showing on a Sunday, just so we can avoid kids, and sometimes and most adults too. But no, really, you're going to pay all that money to go see a movie. The last thing you need. Here's a prime example: is when we went to go see Deadpool. It's a rated R movie, right?
Yeah.
And then right behind us,
the littlest kids you can imagine.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they were being obnoxious.
But I'm like, they're way too young.
But because the point
even though we're not parents, we could tell that that's too young for this movie.
Because when the kid says, "Mommy, can I take my hands away from my eyes now?"
Why do you have that kid in here?
I mean, it was like,
holy crap!
Wow, I could not believe that. But there have been other movies where kids shouldn't have been in there, and they were just being rambunctious and kicking the chair. Oh, I tell you.
Why don't they just have a big holding pen for kids at movie theaters, like they do at IKEA?
I mean, I don't understand what happened when rated R movie says you could not bring a kid into the movie
unless accompanied by a parent.
Is it really?
Yes.
I thought it was strictly you couldn't. Well, no, I guess that's rated X movie.
Because my parents took me to rated R movies, and I didn't want to go because they didn't bother with the sitter. But these weren't movies like Deadpool. These were just movies that were, looking back, boring.
Well, I think back then a rated R movie was more maybe violence or language. And that just kind of shifted with when they came along with PG-13. But I just, at night, let alone bring your kids or bring a baby to a movie. You need to get a sitter for that. And, I hate, it's not the, okay, I don't want your answer on this one. It's not like I don't hate kids or anything. I don't mind kids. I just think that, and when you go to spend that much money in a movie theater, you don't want kids kicking your seat or talking during the movie or asking 20 million questions.
I want adults kicking my seat. They're the one that do it.
Now, on the flip side, I've taken my nieces to movies before. And my niece has asked me questions or told me, hey, I got to go to the restroom or whatever. It's a kid's movie. I don't mind. But when I'm going to see something like Guardians, right, or Deadpool or something like that I really don't think kids,
It's funny when a few times we've gone to see Riff Tracks live in a theater because that's a different crowd. And they'll actually talk back to the screen because it's, about making fun of the movie.
Right.
So.
Oh, yeah. So that's cool, too. But, I mean, there's a time, there's a place, and sometimes it's not the place for younger kids to be in a theater. And, they should be at home in bed at 9 o'clock and because their babysitter told them to go to bed. And so, that's how I kind of look at it. I mean, that's how I was brought up,
Yeah. Well, it's a different world.
Our parents didn't, well, when I say our parents, my parents, when they went out, we had a babysitter. And,
I had a babysitter once in my entire life.
You're too far.
And, I only remember it once. And then the rest of the time, they either took me with them or I think when I turned to 13, they said I was okay to stay by myself. So. That's what I did. I just stayed home.
Hey, I noticed another new person in their chat room. Wyatt is in there. We just want to say howdy. As always, Space Cadets, make Wyatt feel welcome in there. And Wyatt, earn your stripes, and you can become a full-fledged Space Cadets just like everybody else. So welcome to the universe. So yeah, I'm waiting to see Star Wars. I really want. Surprisingly, we didn't go see the Thor movie.
I regret that.
And I don't know if we're going to even find it. There was a couple places that they had it, but since this is the holiday, usually new movies come out around Christmas.
What about that crappy theater off of Westheimer?
You talking about the $2 cinema or the $1 cinema?
The one that's frozen in time from like 1986 that they haven't bothered to repair or clean, or there's like mold on the ceiling and it's all dripping, and you're like, I need a bath when I leave there. But
I'll check into it. If you wanted to do it tomorrow, we could. I'd have to do it, and then I have to go off to the other side of town. But you know how it is. But
it could be done.
Yeah. So there's that. Where do we go from here, Solana?
Well, let's see. So Star Wars, that's the latest thing. Just want to let you know, I watched The Force Awakens, so it'll probably be another year before I will watch the one that's out right now.
No, in all fairness, you liked Rogue One.
Actually did. I thought that, I don't know whose idea it was to take that. They said, the premise of A New Hope, why would you make this design flaw so easy to blow up this Death Star? And then somebody said, well, we better make a movie to explain it. And they did. And I'm like, okay, now everything's better. And I like the flow, how you can go, if you must watch 1 and 2, 3, Rogue One, go right into 4.
Mm-hmm. Actually, kind of Rogue One and New Hope kind of just bookend each other. I love the transition between the two.
And Vader's going right after.
Oh, he kicks some butt in
he's
that.
He's going right after.
Yeah, that scene where he pulls out the lightsaber and he's killing everyone in the hallway, and they're trying to get the data disc down the hallway, and he just went, just old school.
Brock Baker.
What? Oh,
no, Brock Baker's take on that. That music playing.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go to Space Arby's now? Shut up, Steve.
We got another person in. Howdy, Mr. White. It is a pleasure to see you, and as always, Mr. White. We welcome all new people to the show, so welcome. But yeah, that movie was phenomenal. That part, and then I had a kind of almost another Han Solo moment when you see the guy come and give her the disc, and you turn around, or you get to see her, and it's a CGI version of Leia, but still, it looked great. She looked very angelic, almost. Some people compared her to. I can't believe this. I'm forgetting her name. But anyway, she looked very angelic, and it was great, and so that was pretty exciting. Now, the thing is that what happens into the next third and final, or the 10th and final chapter of this epic saga is that, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher has passed away.
Well, I keep asking you, is there already been balance restored to the Force in some previous movie, or are we still trying to work toward that?
Okay, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about how...
That's the point of the movies, isn't it?
The thing is that I'm more wondering, what are they going to do with Carrie Fisher's character? Now, I've heard something to the effect that, as we're getting close to the bottom of the hour, is that there's going to be some time period between 8 and 9 and 10. Man, it feels like these things are divided in threes, but
it's a saga.
So it could be that Carrie Fisher apparently maybe might die in between 8 or 9 and 10, and that would explain what happens to her.
But you're like, who is going to take up the cause?
Right.
If Han's gone, Luke might be gone.
One can only tell with the passage of time. So, it'll be tune in to next year's exciting adventure of Star Wars. So, actually, I hear they're going to postpone it until 2018. So we won't get another...
Well, that's only a few days away, 2018.
2019. So it won't be the usual Christmas rush like they usually do. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. So it is what it is, and well, I guess we'll go from there. So, Sir Lana, let's take our break. Hey, we'll be right back after this.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right. A little Space Boy music action going. You know, all the music is played here is produced by myself, and a lot of the music you can purchase yourself by going to spaceboymusic.com. That's where it's at. A lot of the music is there, like I said. The latest one is Space Boy's Unique Technique, and it's still affordable at a $10 price, and you should get you some. As we say here at the studio, it's a great gift that even Grandma would like to get. So head on over there, and you can find a lot of these tunes that you hear tonight and always on the universe there. It's at spaceboymusic.com. So we're back, Solana.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Something's weird. It's going on over here. Just
I know you're
ignore me.
Ignore me. So the thing is that little technical difficulties behind the scenes as we were taking a break. My computer that I use for chatting with all you guys in the chat room had crapped out, but I'm getting it back up as we speak.
Skype is doing something I have never seen before.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to get the Skype up so that if you want to call the studio, you can do that.
Not yet. Don't even give the numbers.
That I was about to, but we are a live show. This is a live program, and we want to thank Donna for convincing us to do the show tonight. We were going to just do some kind of replay and kind of phone it home, but she made us feel like you deserved a live show. And just running off the energy of yesterday when we worked with Solaris.
That was so much fun.
And we just felt like, we just need to do a show. It won't hurt anybody. So it'll just make everybody happy. And
it's not like we have a life or anything.
Yeah, I know. This is our life. We work so that we can pay Space Boy Universe to air it out so y'all can listen to something.
Okay. Now it's good now because, yeah.
Okay, so Skype is good.
You know what it's doing?
What is it doing?
It was showing Facebook inside of the Skype window.
Okay.
I've never seen that before.
Like a browser within inside?
Yeah. It's weird.
That is weird. But, of course, we all know who owns Skype.
Microsoft.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to
busted.
stick their edge inside their product and so that you can surf while you're Skyping. So... All right, Solana. So, it's kind of an open forum this night, and we had no plans for any kind of particular show, just that we were going to review a few things that have happened through the year, play some Space Boy music, and right off the top of my list of things that, we got a chance to do as far as interviews was J3 Films.
Yes.
And of course, if our audience is not familiar with them, you're probably familiar with when Netflix put out the Stan Romanek story, the documentary about Stan Romanek. Now, I feel like I'm getting ready to go down into another hole as far as, if you don't know who Stan Romanek is, this is the gentleman that's had many encounters with, abductions and high strangeness and just about the whole, you just spin
probably
the roulette
over
wheel.
10 years, maybe?
Over 10 years, just different things. UFO sightings.
The peeping alien in the window is the famous viral
That is kind of
video.
what clued me in onto Stan Romanek's extraordinary life that he has led. And, of course, the more sad end of this is, him...
Go back a tad.
Okay, why
it wasn't this year, was it? We did a show on his story, not necessarily what happened that he got accused of, but we did a show on his story because I had read all the books he and his wife published. Now, since then, they yanked all the books off of every place. You cannot buy the books anymore because they want people to understand they're not trying to profit off of their experiences, but I was able to read them before before this all went down. And we just did a show where we talked about it. Well, I guess word got out that we were doing a show. And when it came time to do the call-in portion of our show, Stan called in. It's probably one of the few times we've been shocked into speechlessness.
What you kind of jumped over was the fact that I guess somebody had said to Stan's wife, hey, you should check this out. And Lisa, so she joined the chat room and was chatting with all the space cadets and all that, which was cool. We were just excited, and then of course towards the last 30 minutes of the show, Stan comes on and talks to us, and which was really exciting to be able to talk to him and let him know that, hey, look, this is kind of how we feel about it, and the thing is that he said, y'all have been very fair about this whole thing, and I just really appreciate the fact that
we tried to look at both sides.
Yeah.
We just there's no way. Now we don't know him. We don't know his wife. We don't know his family. We don't know anybody that he knows. But based on everything that I read and all the interviews I listened to, I can't see his wife putting up with if he had this proclivity. I can't see him hiding it from her. I can't see her putting up with it because she has her own kids. I think he had a daughter, previous marriage, but I don't see her covering for him. There's something else that went on there. I still stand by that. I don't think he's guilty. He might be ultimately responsible for the equipment, but I don't think he is guilty of what he was accused of. Now, fast forward into this year when Extraordinary comes out on Netflix. So we checked out who produced that, because they have their own website, J3 Films, and we got one of the co-writer, director, producers, John Sumple, and he graciously allowed himself to be interviewed by us, which I thought that was a pretty good show. And he addressed, when all the accusations went down right as this was being released. So when we really didn't get into that part of it, we felt we had to address, because that was part of the next chapter of his story. Mm-hmm. But again, it's available for you to go back and listen to. I encourage you to go check that out. Go look at, if it's still on Netflix, it should be Extraordinary, to see his story. I mean, the story is very fascinating. Mm-hmm. And once you review the story, it's going to make you wonder. You can poke holes in a lot of it if you wish. And even towards the end, he kind of does something that makes him look very bad, and not in reference to why he was taken to court. To discredit himself. Yeah, this happened before the accusations and the court dates and all, and the jail time, but he felt he had to do something to discredit himself because somebody was after him and his friends, and something very, very bad happened, he said. So there's a lot more going on than we know, and somebody desperately wants him to shut up. Indeed. And check it out on Netflix, and draw your own conclusions, and then Sir Lana, when we started the year, our first show of the year was the Dulce Wars. And that was even if that's a fictional story, it's terrifying. It is terrifying. Interesting people that you start thinking about is Phil Snyder. The weirdest thing about the Dulce thing is how many people are connected to that story. You got Phil Schneider, you got Richard Doty, the disinformation specialist. Yeah. You've got, I've forgotten all the major key players and then there's a guy who just sat back and watched the whole thing and tried to report on it, and then Doty came in, and then Linda Moulton Howe gets all into that stuff too, and you've got not John Lear, but the other guy. I can't think of his name. Who worked there? It's Lazar, yeah. Their stories are all connected, right, to the Dulce via Area 51, via the underground tunnels, via and then there's the Dulce Wars that supposedly happened between non-humans and humans, and so it's. I don't know if I believe the non-human aspect, but still, I do believe our government's capable of anything. I am surprised there hasn't been some kind of movie that kind of like to bring that out. That really focuses on and I'm not talking about a movie like Battle of L.A., which they borrow that there was a battle and it wasn't even like the actual original story. And
But the Dulce Wars is just really fascinating because it gets into the underground tunnels and even when you talk about Phil Snyder, that man is very interesting.
Well, how he died is very questionable.
Very questionable. Very makes you go
poorly set up.
Yeah, so that is a fascinating story, and that was the first show that kicked off this year, and which leads to we went from the Dulce Wars to talking to a gentleman by the name of Viking Dave along the way, and then we went into the underground bases, which we actually dove further. Pardon the pun.
Well, Red Viking Dave, he's a local Houstonian. He has his own Metal Geeks podcast here in Houston. We met him through some local conventions. He's a cool dude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
still friends with us.
Yeah, so he has his own podcast with a group of guys, and more than likely we'll see him again in not too far distant future. And as we're trucking along, we did the Dulce Wars, we talk about underground bases, but no sooner than we do the underground bases, we talk to Daryl Sims, the alien hunter. We
actually went to see him. And the place where we met, Webster, Texas, and we went to one of his MUFON meetings. So haven't been able to get his attention again, but I think if we were to go back, it'd be like, well, here we are in your face. But he seemed to enjoy that interview because he was telling us that when we went to see him, how much he enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a very fascinating character. It almost. He was in law enforcement, but he's got this...
very different from, the UFO researchers, where that kind of sit back and they report on cases or they write things or they investigate. Daryl feels like Walker, Texas. Not only does he investigate and support, but I feel like if you wanted to, he'd go kick some alien butt for you. Tell me where they are. I'll kick their asses.
Yeah, so I
think he wants to go after them.
In his experiences, he doesn't have quite the pleasant experience with them, and so he has a little. It almost like he has some
very Texan attitude,
animosity against
animosity.
The alien. Yeah, thank you. And but yeah, he does. Does he not personify a Texan? He is just he's just so cool. And it was quite a pleasure to please, Sirlon. We talked about this yesterday on Solaris' show.
We did about not being cool,
about being more self-confident. You are a fabulous individual, and you just need to grab the brass ring.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, so as we continue on, so Daryl Sims, great, and then we couldn't go from Daryl Sims without somebody cool as well in his own right. We brought back Preston Dennett, and we talked about the move.
Have him back again, I think.
Yeah,
I think he likes us now.
Yeah, so I'm sure if we reached out to him, and we could probably get him back on the show.
Just want to make sure we have something to talk about.
Yeah, but we talked about the moon and
moon conspiracies.
The moon conspiracies. And
how did it get there? Why is it there? Why does it seem to belong there?
Is it artificial in nature? So
Carl Pilkington thinks that's where you tip. That's where you take all your old dishwashers. And he says he thinks we've taken our old stuff like that and dumped it on the moon because we've run out of space on the Earth.
But so he was it was great to have him back because he's just a well person and an enjoyment to hang out with, and it was great to talk to him. So, and as we truck along, we had many other good shows. I guess there was Ken Gerhart that we talked to, and about cryptozoology.
Yeah, that was good.
And I think you were fascinated by his owl, the picture he had in his owl. You were like, if he has an owl, he can't be that bad. Look,
I just want to talk to you about that owl. I don't really care about anything else you got to say.
And as the universe is known for 6 major topics: history, fringe science, gaming, music, pop culture, and technology. Aren't you glad we have that up there on the wall?
Yeah, we have a giant banner.
So to constantly remind us of our topics. But we dove back into history, and we took a subject matter that I felt like we did the greats. Oh well, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the great women of history. I think
Volume
that was
two.
volume 2, was it? I guess.
Yeah, always fun because there's always more women in history that you've never heard of.
It was actually the volume 1, but we did do volume 2. Did we just do it later?
Yeah, we did it same year. Same year.
Yeah. So volumes 1 and 2, and so some great women that we talked about. That some known and then some unknown.
I try
ladies.
to get the ones that even. I mean, I'm not going to do the usual Susan B. Anthony, because everybody learns about these chicks.
Well, the thing here's what I feel about that. With history.
There's more I want to talk about too.
It shouldn't be taken away that we should talk about Susan B. or we should talk about other women that are well known, because sometimes history is not written with accuracy.
No.
And depending on where you get your history from, you could be told X, Y, and Z when this person is ABC, and you're like, what? They did what?
I have a topic, a history topic on this same vein.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about, but I have to read a book first.
But the thing is that that's when I mentioned the topics of the show, we tried to keep it a broad spectrum. I mean, everyone knows I love fringe topics, the UFOs, the cryptozoology, but I'm more than just the unknown kind of person that likes all that stuff, and history has been a big fan of mine, because we do dive in later where we talk about the captains of industry, and that was fun to talk about. The J.P. Morgans, the Rockefellers.
I found out so much more than just about their lives. You can start connecting the dots with J.P. Morgan and Rockefeller and all these guys with Carnegie. You can see the roots of some of where it went wrong, where it's all starting to go wrong, and the roots of the greed and who isn't really in charge and who's got the money, the ties to the shadow government. I mean, I could extrapolate a lot from that. But it was also, it felt like the birth of pure capitalism.
Oh, yeah.
So in a way,
most
you
definitely.
had to admire it.
Right. I mean, there's good, there's bad, love them, hate them, depending on how you figure it all out.
They did some unscrupulous business practice, and then some of them you have to go, well, dang, that was clever. Or
So
they're the first ones to think of that, and
But yeah, I do like that. It's it's basically that time period that's right after the Civil War. For me, I feel like Civil War has been beaten to death, and as far as talked about over and over. And I'm not trying to belittle the Civil War, because it is a significant time period in American history. But once you get past the Civil War and the country starts to head into the Industrial Revolution, I mean, it's just a fascinating topic.
It just seems like it was right for rebuilding and people maybe taking advantage, and
But fascinating subject, and that's why I enjoyed doing the Captains of Industry and of the Industrial Revolution. And then we kind of dived into mind control and music. Remember that, Sir Lana?
Oh my gosh, I learned some things that I never heard of before. And my favorite piece of that was, it's a conspiracy theory notion that what happened to hip hop music and rap, where in the 70s and 80s, they were rapping about their inner city struggles, coming up through poverty, having to deal with gangs, having to deal with drugs, and trying to rise above and stay strong. And then here come the 90s, and it's all about power and wealth and fame and gold chains and bitches and hoes. And it's all about very shallow things. So it turns out that might have been a very calculated effort on the music record label's part, because it turns out these record labels were buying jails, and for every inmate they got a certain cut from the government to fund it. So they were making money off of inmates, and what they needed to make a profit is they needed more inmates, so they needed more criminals, so they needed to glorify criminal behavior in music, so these kids would aspire to this behavior, and then of course they'll just end up in jail, lining the pockets of these record labels. So I was like, gosh, that's I don't know if it's true, but fascinating.
Indeed. It's just the subject matter with music, and it was very illuminating when you came down with that train of thought, and it was like, it
But
makes
then
you
there's
wonder.
the actual music tones that could influence you, the devil's tritone,
Right.
you know, and all that kind of things. That it's also media's influence using music, and then music videos, and then the messages, and then the subliminal, and it's a lot there.
Well, even
It's a meaty
you know, I
subject.
was talking about how Marilyn Manson likes to use certain notes and frequencies to actually make people feel off kiltered, and
Some movies do that with their soundtrack on purpose.
and on purpose, exactly. So that was a great subject matter, and you know, and that kind of led us to. You know, bringing Patrick Sporer back on the air, and that was on April 1st. And
April Fools.
as always, it's been a pleasure talking to him, and he's just a wealth of information. And as we were talking earlier in the program, a few weeks ago, we brought Patrick back on more recently. You know, he kind of comes on every 6 months, and I kind of do that on purpose just because I enjoy having him on, and he has always something interesting to say. And so he was talking about at the most recent show about the 111. I guess it was a dream maybe Gene had, and of course 11 days later from that show, I guess the Lotto Pick 3 in Florida, it hit with the 111. And it hasn't been seen since 2015. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. He does I guess he has his dream journal. How would you describe it, Sir Lorna? I mean,
It's a blog.
Yeah, a blog. And he goes in and he records his dreams, and
Very, very thoroughly.
very thoroughly. And you should go. We have a link on our website. He has his own banner that we put on there. And check out his site and tell him that the universe sent you. And so, yeah, check out Patrick Sporer. He's just a real close friend of the show, and we love the heck out of him. So, but you know, Sir Lon, you mentioned earlier before we, I guess, head in. Well, you know what? Let's do the break, and I don't want to. Let's stop it right there.
Okay.
You know, I guess I'm drawing off the energy that we got yesterday from Solaris Blue Raven show, and
We just had so much fun.
so yeah, we did have a lot of fun. So you know, when we come back, we have more of the universe, and you know, I expect you to stay there, Space Cadets, in the chat room and chat it up. So don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
All right, we're back. Playing some older Space Boy music there, but it's all good. And let's see, where were we at? So before we took our break, we were talking a little bit about Patrick Sporer, good friend of the show. And I was about to lead into the fact that are you done stuffing your face over there? Because it's a
Sure,
Space
good.
Boy and Solana explore with us, and
No, you go ahead.
yeah, but there's communication that needs to go back and forth.
ahead.
So as we've mentioned many times on the show, we watch a lot of YouTube, and we've watched many celebrities on YouTube. Yeah, there's actually celebrities you can watch, or YouTube celebrities.
Well, YouTube celebrities, that's they've made celebrities of themselves.
But so there was this one person who goes by the 8-Bit Guy. We've watched and enjoyed his many episodes that have been on YouTube.
I think he was the most shocked to be asked to be interviewed.
Would you believe that?
Yeah.
I think he had a good time on the show. But anyway,
hope so.
So David Murray is his name, and so he, on his videos, he usually, I guess, he's taking apart computers, and the computers that he does for a show is like Commodores and technology from that time period. Prior, nothing really modern, but he is really quite smart when it comes to a lot of this equipment. This ancient technology. But he makes it work, and it shows him repair it. It shows him clean them up.
Well, it's fascinating because you and I are hardcore old school nerds.
Yeah, and I think I made the comparison. Another show that he follows, and I guess he's probably good friends with, is Techmoan, is another YouTuber, and it's very similar to like the old days of Discovery Channel, where they would have the how it works and
How it's made,
and how it's made, and going even further back into the 90s with the Discovery Channel. Sorry, I got a brain fart there for a second. But so we brought him on. We talked about various different things, and
We still avidly watch his channel.
oh yes, very really. I mean, we look
two
for
channels.
He has two channels because he does 8-bit music as well, so he shows different older keyboards, very similar to his other channel with 8-Bit Guy.
He's all into synths.
And so he plays
Synthesizers.
the older keyboards.
Does reviews.
It does reviews and tests it out, repairs. So it's just a really fascinating, and a phrase I like to borrow from Ferris Bueller is, he's one righteous dude.
And he's graciously featured some of your songs in his videos.
Which
background
has
music.
been really cool. So occasionally it's been nice where, I'm sitting there and why does this feel so familiar? And I can't put my finger.
Music.
I mean, so it's just,
my favorite one is he was trying to restore a grungy, gritty, dirty computer, and so he's trying to clean it. And while he was going through the montage of cleaning, he used
Chrysanthemum.
No, he used that one that you did for Amanda Diane, for her.
Oh yeah, Dash Lovo.
Dash Lovo. It's kind of like
It's edgier. Yeah.
An edgy kind of a horror movie, end of a horror movie soundtrack thing. So to illustrate how bad it was.
But so it was really cool. We made a connection. I just said, hey, look, here's some music. I'm not asking for you to do anything, but
It's there if you want
we
it.
appreciate the fact that you came on, and I noticed that the type of music you listen to, and maybe you'll enjoy some Space Boy music. And then I think at some point he says, do I have permission to play this on my channel? I said, David, go right ahead. Just it's royalty free from my end, so you can use it whatever to your heart's desire. I'd be honored. And so, like I said, when
Occasionally it pops up.
it pops up, I get a little credit at the end, and it's really cool. So I was just glad to help him, fill some montage with a little Space Boy music. And so, but yeah, it's been a couple of episodes where I'm like, hey, I'm really digging this episode more than I usually do, and then come to find out, well, he's playing my music in the background, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So anyway, David Murray was great. He came on in April, and just enjoyed that. So we had a couple of various topic shows, and along the way to Comic Palooza. That's right, the universe went live out in the field at Comic Palooza.
Our very first Comic Con where we had a booth.
A booth?
Proper
booth.
Yeah.
And because the year before
we were just running around.
We were running around with our heads cut off, and man,
and of course
that wore me out.
Yeah. It's not really my scene because of my social anxiety, but my gosh, I had so much fun running around with you because it was like walking around with a celebrity because you had on your astronaut outfit, and then depending on what day it was, you'd put on a different head,
a different mask.
When you walked around that Saturday with the was it the chimpanzee?
Oh yeah,
that
was a big
that
hit.
Looked fairly realistic. You know, had good hair.
Yeah,
and then you bought your gorilla hands to go with it, but you're in the astronaut outfit, so it kind of looked like if Planet of the Apes evolved to have their own aerospace program.
Right.
And we had to walk this main strip to go to the front to get your friend who wanted to come take pictures to go get him in. Mm-hmm. And it was like walking with a celebrity. So you get stopped, and we'd see people we wanted to take pictures with. I'd take their picture with you, and that was so much fun. I'm like, oh, can we do this every day?
Yeah, so we're excited. The plan is that we hope to be there Memorial Weekend again for 2018. Yeah. We've got things lined up, and it's just a matter of, come along with us, or no, we've decided to go a different direction. But I think
I'm waiting to hear.
Just waiting to hear back. And as always, we will play it to the tens, if you will, and have a good time. And, but it was exciting. It was fun. Whipped out the space suit, and we gave away stuff, and that was fun.
So much fun.
We had a little raffle thing of different things. We had boxes we made with various items. Even a Funko Pop was in some of them, and I think we gave away, of all things, Porky Pig as the space cadet, and that was the giveaway for Funko Pop. And people loved it. The volunteers that we did have that helped us out, which, by the way, we're still looking for volunteers for this coming thing. And if you're interested,
in Houston,
and you're in Houston for Memorial Weekend, let us know.
We can't pay you.
Yeah, but at least you'll have some fun hanging out with us.
Get you in. That's all.
So, Michelle, from our Michelle down here in Houston, she had a good time, and she enjoyed doing it, and we appreciated her. Also, Leanne's son came with his friend and helped out and took some pictures, and they had a good time. It was just a fun thing, and I think it was like Spaceboy Universe was definitely in its element in that atmosphere. So,
if we get asked back, we've got big plans and ideas for really blowing it out, but just kind of have to wait and see.
So after Comic Palooza, I guess we were, I don't know how we decided to go ahead and move the studio back to the front of the house.
Yeah. That was like the big mark. It was just,
Because I think it was like, okay, after Comic Palooza, this is what's going to happen. And so I came into a little bit of money, and I said, I want to do this proper. And so it's been a long journey. This room that we're in now, the studio we call our studio room, was the Spaceboy Music Labs. It was strictly what was done in here was music production. And so, we were in the back because we were trying to, stay back there because at the time, Tick Fu, our dog that we had that is no longer with us, he was a cougher. So, we tried to stay a kind of away while we did the live show. So we just stayed back there for the longest time.
It's so much noise.
Yeah. So, he moved on, and then I said, I want to do a really cool studio to make it feel cool and like we're part of the universe. So what I did was
fool ourselves into thinking we're professionals.
We ended up repainting this room. First, I had to paint the room black. I masked off certain parts of the
childhood fantasy we all have to paint a room black.
The crown molding and all that. And so painted it black, and then I went back in and threw dots on the wall where it was like space stars, And then from there, I
Painted space theme.
I used spray paint to print, do like
nebulas
and galaxies, and then we painted planets on the wall. You know, about the size of about 2 or 3 inches wide on some of them. But anyway, I think it all turned out. I even gave the paintbrush to Solana to throw some stars, and she enjoyed getting her anger out on that. And so it really turned out well as far as that. And, you know, we bought some new furniture to get in here, some desks, some new computer equipment. So, because, you know, we wanted to make sure everything was running properly. So, in other words, we definitely upgraded the studio.
And we've had very few technical issues since we changed it all over.
Yeah. So it was much overdue. And so we had fun doing that, and which led to actually having an in-studio guest. And our first in-studio guest was Leo Phoenix. Sorry, got a little tongue-tied. We met at Comic Palooza. And Sirlana, would you like to talk about Leo?
Well, yeah, that was our first one, and we were nervous because, you know, that social anxiety I have extends to having people in my home, and, you know, being judged. Let me take a moment out. Hi, Donna, and oh my God, Fran, have you been in witness protection? Where the heck have you been? And so we met Leo at Comic Palooza, and he's a local artist. But what he does is he creates original comic book characters and also original stories and characters using paper. Like, he meticulously cuts paper, and it looks like sharp acrylic vector painting. And we really just seemed to hit it off with him. And he said he would come, despite the fact we live on the edge of Houston, and he hung out in the studio, and he seemed like he had a good time. We took all these pictures with him, and I reckon we could talk to him again.
I think that was another good reason why we moved the studio up in the front, so that
we wouldn't have to.
If we had guests come in, they could just come in through the front door, and bam, they're there, and they don't have to walk.
Just pee in the yard and
Sort of like. So, but yeah, we had a good time. Our first official in-studio guest, and, you know, he'll go down in history as that, and so it was great. And, you know, we go from a show like that where it's kind of Leo is like pop culture and just really, once again,
he really brought it up. He brought the whole show up levels that we hadn't been to.
Once again,
classy,
righteous dude. And so it was great to have him. And then we went into a show called Transhumanism.
What to be concerned about? What is it? Where are we going with AI and robots? What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to stay human? Do we need to keep certain aspects of our humanity? Do we need to leave some things behind in order to move forward, to get beyond certain primitive emotions that are keeping us apart, keeping us from getting to a higher plane of existence, maybe? If I'm remembering that correctly. But it's also some of the practical aspects, like, okay, if you lose an arm or a limb and they get replaced by a robotic prosthetic,
right?
Even if you're in charge, your brain's in charge of that limb, are you still human?
Or are you less human?
Yeah, I mean, are you, I mean, maybe that doesn't matter, but I mean, just so it was more of the philosophical and ethical aspects of what it is to be transhuman. No, it was a very fascinating, a little bit heavier topic. Sorry, we've got some new people that have jumped into chat, some people we haven't seen in a while. And, of course, Donna's there.
So Solana is just blown away in the fact that Fran has shown up, and, you know, it's just like I'm in total shock. I don't know if I will be able to call Beverly by her real name or Fran by her name if one of them calls tonight, but I'll do my best. And hey, Alan has come in. He's definitely part of the space crew. This was
supposed to be a call-in show, and we said that doesn't mean only Bev calls in, if you know what I'm saying.
Exactly. And also, since Donna is listening, you know, we got to thank Donna, because Donna pushed us to do the live show tonight. It's because of you, Donna, that we do the show, and so you get the gold star for tonight to encourage us to keep the light on, so to speak. And so, Donna, we wish salute you. Yes. So there's our gift for Christmas for you, is this show. And so as we continue on, we did the show with David Burnett, who is the coordinator for Houston Maker Faire, who's been our connection with Maker Faire and Comic Palooza, and he is just a great guy and
Canadian.
He's Canadian. Man, we love Canadians here at the SBU, and I'm sure some of y'all know which Canadians we're talking about. But, so he is just it was funny when we first met David, is that when we went to the Texas Robotics Invitational.
Mm-hmm. That's where we met him.
And then when he starts talking, he's talking to us, and we're listening to him. And then
gave himself away.
He gave himself away, as most Canadians do.
Some of them do, not all.
And then of course Solana and I kind of looked at each other and smiled with our Cheshire grin cat.
Ever met a covert Canadian?
Yeah. So
I don't know if I have.
I don't know either. Well, I know you're not Canadian.
No, it's pretty obvious where I'm from.
Especially on Thursdays when you want to punch somebody in the throat.
Yeah, the Canadians are not known for throat punching unless it's on an ice hockey in an ice hockey rink.
So we got the chance to talk to him. We talked to Tessa Dick, Philip K. Dick's widow, and it was interesting.
I was so not qualified for that,
but it was great, and once again, I have to bring this up. The reason we got a chance to talk to her was because of Solaris Blue Raven.
She's a hookup.
She's always been a feather in our cap, and that's why we love her at the Universe. And so if you ever get a chance to listen to her on Fridays, please do. She's just a wonderful person. I say that about just about everybody, but I really do mean Solaris is wonderful because she just means so much to us and been so supportive with the Universe. So. But as we trucked along, we talked earlier in the program about 3J films, but we eventually get to talk to Dr. Osmanagic. You say it better than I do. I can't believe it.
You gotta really.
I gotta put in my brain a certain way.
We had to do a pre-interview. We had to do a recorded interview, but my gosh, that man is fascinating. He's actually
about the Bosnian pyramids.
He's actually a Houston entrepreneur, but he is Bosnian Herzegovinian, and what he has found out about the honest to God pyramid is just shocking and fascinating. And he's talked about some of the unexpected healing properties, the vibrations that they have picked up, what's going on, and how we've learned how the earth has changed vibrations, and it's not healthy for us. But inside of this pyramid, people feel better. And I think going all the way back to Tesla, I think, knew some of this too. And he was shut up. And that's why I think Dr. O, we'll call him Dr. O, got so much criticism from his own community, archaeological community, trying to shut him down and discredit him.
Well, that reminds me, Sorlana, of history where you had many people that were kind of ahead of their times during like the 18th century, even towards the 19th century, even today, where you have, the community as a whole will denounce something from somebody who might be ahead of their time, and they could be absolutely right. But because these scientists are so set in their ways, and I think it's more of a situation where they feel like
rock that boat, man.
Rock that boat. That means it makes them irrelevant.
Or it could be professional jealousy too.
That is true. I mean, we see it so many times, and that's the part that frustrates me about science and holding mankind back.
It's the petty emotions that get in the way, and also he alluded to this, and I always kind of suspected this. These guys who are really high up in the Egyptology of the pyramids and all that stuff are holding on to some information on purpose, keeping it to themselves, and they're not letting some things out. Right.
But once again, pre-recorded show, but we played it live and engaged our listening audience that night. Just fascinating individual. And
we're lucky we got to talk to him when we did, because that is a busy man.
He is very busy. He called us from Bosnia. So
we got up at 10 a.m. our time on a Saturday.
Yeah, so it was definitely worth the record.
I was grumpy.
And yeah, it's like,
I was grumpy.
I can't believe I'm up.
Yeah, that's exactly how I sound too, like a chain smoker.
So we talked to him, and fascinating interview, and we went along, and we talked about our technology controlled future.
Yes,
and
how it's getting more invasive and pervasive.
Mm-hmm.
You've got things like Alexa and Echo in your home, and I'm just thinking maybe it's not a great idea. And you've got your smart TVs are a little too smart. Maybe they're spying on you. Maybe they're reporting your activities.
Right.
It's not just how much you watch and what you watch, but maybe it's giving more than you want. Mm-hmm. And then we've got drones now. God only knows what they're doing. We've had to have new rules, FAA rules, for personal drones. It's getting to where you can't hide. Even if you're not doing anything wrong, if you just want regular privacy, that's getting to be a concept that's going to be a thing of the past.
Right. And, we lead to, Reverend John Polk ended up coming through Houston on his way to his new life out in Arizona. And so we got a chance to speak with him in studio. And, I do get questions about, what happened to Reverend John's show. What happened was that Reverend John decided to go a different direction. We still love him, and
he's still a righteous dude.
He's still a righteous dude, and he's doing his own thing out west, and we wish him all the best. And so there's no hard feelings between us. Mm-mm. And but we did get a chance to meet him in person, and he got to spend the night here. And we got to talk to him on the show. We got to take
him to Whataburger. So,
we got to treat him to Whataburger. So that was a point there. And so, these next several shows that we had The Outer Rim, Jim and Jody Bray.
Our other selves.
We're literally our other selves. They're so energetic like we are. And
we could talk to them for hours.
Oh, most definitely. They're entertaining. They're Trek nerds like we are. They're working on The Outer Rim is I guess their production thing, kind of like SBU Network is our production, and so they're working on individual programming.
They're moving forward with their own original sci-fi series,
right?
That they're writing it, they're starring in it, they're directing it, they're making their own props.
Mm-hmm. And Jim is an excellent prop maker. I've seen the props that he's made, and they look very cool. And so, both of them are just,
not shabby at all.
No, they're well worth its weight in gold. But at some point we'll get them back on eventually. But to talk more about upcoming events, and I'm kind of working behind the scenes with them, writing some music for some of their programming, and so I'll let you know as that kind of goes in, and the elusive interview, as I like to call this one, we reached out to Carrie Cassidy many times. And
it took about a month and a half.
It's just because of scheduling. And, first off, the thing about Carrie Cassidy is she is very busy.
Yes. I respect that. Mm-hmm. I respect that.
And, I've said many times, I respect that. I recognize what a contribution she gives on the subject matter as a whole, and she is just very hardcore, and I appreciate the level of commitment she has to doing her own programming. But yeah, I didn't really think we were going to get the chance to talk to her. Was that a live thing, or
no, it was pre-recorded?
Once again, it was one of those things we had the pre-record. in order to capture, something for the show. And, it happens, if we want to get somebody on the show and the Saturday night, a lot of people are not like us hanging out together around the fire.
Yeah, some people have a life.
No, but Sirlana, come on. Their life out there, Space Cadets, is the universe.
What did we do before this show?
I don't recall any. I mean, we've just always been busy doing something, I don't.
But like on a Saturday night, we just.
I don't recall.
What? You'd be binge watching something, and I'd be reading something.
Maybe, I guess.
The good old days. No.
So, but yeah, and so that leads us into the hurricane.
Really?
Yes, it was the hurricane. It was 28th of August, and the Hurricane Harvey was hitting us. Basically, all the rain started dumping onto us.
It beat the crap out of Houston.
Surprisingly, we did a whole show and didn't get cut off.
Nope.
And but of course, later that next week, what happens is a tree branch fell on our cable line, our power and our cable.
Well, we were. It started on the 20 on a Friday, and they said, "Okay, get ready." Next day, Saturday, it hit, and then Sunday, we're like, "Oh crap!" And then Monday, it was gone, and it was just like a month of like, "What do we do now?" Type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess it weakened that tree, and the tree hung on till September 8th, and it fell onto September 8th. A big chunk of this tree fell, and it knocked out our power lines, the phone line, and the cable. Not that we have phone, but that all came down, and it took out 8 other houses' power as well. And it took them probably 20 hours, maybe less, to fix it.
Well, hold that thought, Sirlana. I just realized it's the bottom of the hour. So let's take a little break, and when we come back, we'll kind of wrap that hurricane stuff up, and so don't go anywhere. You're listening to PAUK Radio Network right here on Spaceboy Universe. All right, we're back. And hey, before we continue, I know a special somebody out there is listening. Her name is Stacy. It's my sister, and tomorrow's her birthday. And I want to just wish her a happy birthday early from your big brother and I guess your sister-in-law here. We love you, and congratulations on turning 22.
Oh,
so there you go. So
what a good older brother.
So we made it through the hurricane, craziness and stuff.
Well, what irritates me about that is we got through the actual hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
It got within 4 inches of getting up to our house, to get into our house. We made it through that. We never lost power. We never lost internet. And then that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It all goes to heck. And we end up having to sleep in the back of your van for 4.5 nights.
It wasn't 4.5 nights because you actually decided.
Well, Thursday morning-ish is when it came back on for good.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that was crappy.
I mean, it's not like we could have.
And then when the tree went down, we had to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. We had to call them, and they came. The power company came. They said this job is too big for us, so we'll have to come back. But they did. They didn't brush us off. They did come back eventually, and then they got it done within 20 hours or something like that. So
right. So we survived the hurricane. A lot of water came within 4 inches of our door and our back door.
But Houston, as a whole, took over a month to recover.
But it was a solid month. That I think within a month.
That was waiting for things to drain.
Because when we had the other hurricane, in the city was pretty much whacked out of shape. It took them some time to get back to normal.
Well, and the interesting thing is, Hurricane Ike was about wind. Hurricane Harvey was about water.
Mm-hmm. Which that's the big difference. Being waterlogged and everything. So.
Ike scoured us to the ground, whereas the other one just tried to drown us.
So, as we cruised along, we made it through that, and we talked about various topics. We talked about the shadow government. And
that was eye-opening.
Yeah, and we talked to Mark Johnson of the PAUK radio network. At that time, it was just an interview. We weren't quite doing business with them yet. Mm-hmm. And I had become friends with him once again.
Through Solaris.
And
he's a cool guy. He's laid back. And, of course, they're going to hear this.
Yes. So it's...
And, so he's very easy for us to talk to because we get all the things that he's into.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was very good. I liked what my favorite thing was he said?
What's that?
He says that Bigfoot is the world's hide and seek champion. I was like, I didn't think about that. That's kind of cool.
So I knew, based on because I follow him on Facebook, that it'd be a great interview, and I thought, why don't we get it? It'd be just an easy, just reach out to him and say, hey, come on the show and stuff, and he did, and we had a good time. Which later it led to him showing our presenting our show to Irene, and they ended up saying, hey, why don't y'all become part of our network and play your show on our network? And so we agreed. So now we're on the PAUK radio network, and it all started with a little bit of Mark Johnson being a part of our show.
I like his title he gave himself, the paracryptozoologist. Mm-hmm. That just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Right. And we go from a show like that to a show that how did you describe it? It's a history show where you felt like you didn't really know much about Watergate.
Yeah.
And you thought...
turns out to be a little bit of a minefield. And anytime you talk about politics, even historically, people have strong feelings. But Watergate happened before I was born. Just before. So I thought, well, what's this all about? Because this was probably an explosive thing in our history in this country. And I learned a lot, and I'm kind of like two minds about Richard Nixon. Like, on one hand, I felt like maybe he had good intentions, but I'm not sure
that it was misplaced.
Yeah, but to go so far with it, I don't know. But it was interesting. I'm glad I did it because I learned something. I don't know if that came across on the show.
No, I think you brought
but
new
that's
eyes
a
onto a
big
subject.
topic.
It is a big topic.
You could do several shows on that because you could take a little piece out of it and expand it.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things that other people did in that to cover up stuff shocked me to the core. Why I'm shocked by that when they're capable of anything to this day. Look at the assassination of Kennedy.
Right.
That's all tied into it too.
And they just released a lot of documents on the JFK assassination, and there's still more that hasn't been released, and I feel cheated.
They're never going to tell us the truth.
I think there's just too many things that are still going on that would lay light to what's going on.
Well, and the prevailing conspiracy belief with Kennedy is that it had to do with disclosure because he was going to do it and they had to shut him up. So and maybe that would come out in the documents or something.
A great show, great research upon your part on that show, and it was
there's a preponderance of stuff out there for the research,
and there was a great consensus out there that it was a great show from our audience, and they liked it. And then finally, we get into our anniversary show. 2 years, Sirlana, we've been doing that. This and many other shows on the SBU network, and but SBU 2 years. Pretty heavy stuff. I can't believe we've done 2 years.
We already have 2 great clips from more recent shows I've got for you want to play end of the year stuff next time.
Sure.
So for funnies.
We played some clips from things that have happened in the previous years, and I think as any hardcore space cadet, ask K28 what Circus Peanuts is all about. The thing is the Gene Hackman syndrome that I have that basically gets played out through every episode of the SBU. Just various fun things that we talked about, guests that we had on, and things that had come across our lives.
Yeah, we usually do like this. We'll recap what happened in that year. Mm-hmm. If there are funny clips, we'll play them, which we did do that. There'll be at least 2 this year for sure. Poor Bev. She's been calling in, and she ends up, she'll ask her question. We'll see how she's doing. And then it ends up, poor woman, she ends up being our therapist, our marriage counselor, and she has to go through all that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, don't be surprised, Bev, if you don't end up in a best of clip because, you've been like right in the middle of ground zero. So we made it through the new year of I guess you call it a Space Boy year. By that point, late September. And so we start rolling towards December, and we do the let's see, what was it? I'm trying to think here. Oh yeah, we do a show on dark matter, dark energy.
That was really good to do.
We do a show on dreams. I know you want to mention something about that because you brought that up last night.
I found that interesting because I actually found a dream journal I kept.
Right, exactly.
And I thought, hey, I could take this and put it up against one of those stupid web dream dictionaries and show you how the dream dictionaries are just too generic. They can't tell you what your dream means because there's too much personal information in your dreams. There's too much personal truth or things you've got to figure out on your own. If you dream about this, it doesn't mean that for everybody. It means something different for you, something different for somebody else. So it was in that episode toward maybe the final 20 minutes of the whole show when Bev called in, and it devolved into this marital angst about you touching my pillow, which I did not want you to do.
Anyway, so we, just for time, just to make sure we're on target here, Sirlana, we go from that to Maker Faire this year in October, where we got to meet everybody from previous year, and
oh yeah, it was good. It was like having a reunion, a high school reunion,
exactly,
of people you actually like.
A lot of good stuff there, with David Burnett inviting us back to
a lot of great interviews. Those are all up and out there right now on our YouTube channel. If you still like to go back and see them,
live interviews, video interviews,
interviews.
Yeah. So and a couple of topic roulette, as we like to call it, where we spin the wheel and just randomly talk about
all 6 topics.
All 6 topics and things out in the universe. But we got a chance. I think this is one of those programs that, once again, you just kind of pull it out of nowhere. The Laurel Canyon Conspiracy.
Okay, of all the shows we've done for 2017, okay?
Yeah.
That one is my favorite one because I know that that topic is probably well covered with other people. I want to say Richard Dolan may talk about it at some point, but I didn't know. I personally just heard just bits and pieces about it, but I never really sat down and thought about the notion of what if the CIA was behind the entire hippie music movement, and it was a carefully crafted movement for their purposes to discredit a generation of people who are trying to protest the war, because you had real war protesters, and then you had these hippies that were not really, kind of just muddying up the thing, laying around getting high and wanting to do peace and love, but not actually do anything active. So, what if they made this whole genre as a scapegoat and a distraction? As Solaris told us the other night, that anytime we get close to a truth or a breakthrough of learning the truth, somebody brings in the circus and puts the clown car in front of us to distract us. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if the hippie movement was that era's clown car. And then the fact that this all happened in a very specific location on a mountain that's at the foot of a hill where a major military covert installation was. Right. You could literally walk out down the hill and into Frank Zappa's place.
So yeah, that was quite an interesting topic, and one of the topics you were drawn to. It's always when you definitely get drawn to a topic, you really pull out your guns and research, bringing it to the table, and it's always good. So as we approach November, I knew the 18th was going to be a Saturday, which
your birthday,
my birthday, and so I wanted to do a show. Something fun and something musical. Once again, the guest was Jeff McCall, and he, I found him once again. I was just kind of going through Facebook, and an advertisement popped up, and it was Jeff McCall promoting his nightlife experience about his new album coming out. And I went through it and clicked it and checked it out, and I was like, wow, this is really good. It got a nice retro sound. He reminds me of Roxy Music, the Ultravox, and a lot of these older musicians that I grew up on listening to, and it was really good. So I invited him on the show. He said, sure, why not? Even with the time change, because he was calling us from England. He managed to...
He seemed like he had a good time.
Yeah, and he did. He followed up and said, hey, I really enjoyed it. It was unexpected. And
of all the topics, without having to do any research, it's synthesized music.
Yeah,
we
did the full gambit and talked about him and music in general. And
I get to ask questions too, right?
But so yeah, we had a good time with Jeff, and he has we put a little link on our front page on our website. So if you want to check out his music,
and as always, every person we've ever interviewed is on spaceboyuniverse.com under the guests listings. All their information, who they are, why they were on the show, or links to all their media that I could find are there.
And let me throw something at you. On our front page, as it currently stands, if you see a banner on our front page, these people haven't paid me any music.
That's how much we like them.
That's how much we like them. They haven't paid any money to us to advertise on our website. It's just that we feel like, like with Jeff, indie music goes straight to my heart. And since I liked him and he came on, I felt very supportive of him. Solaris Blue Raven has a little thing on her on the site for us. Patrick Sporer has a connection on our site.
The Jim and
Jody Bray
of Outer Rim.
And I think isn't there one more? PAUK Radio. We give them prompts by putting a link on our site to say thank you for taking us into your fold and promoting Spaceboy Universe by playing our show. So, when you see those links, they're not it's not paid advertisement. It's actually people we have said, hey, thank you very much. We really support what you do. And if you get a chance to go to the website, do so and click on those links and check them out and tell them that the universe sent you there to check them out.
Yes.
So from there, we did something on the universe that hasn't been done in a while. We had Spaceboy Music Night on the SBU, which it's been forever and a day since I've actually done Spaceboy music alone by itself. Yes. It kind of got kind of went away because we were working on the quantum hologram matrix.
Well, you're also in the middle of new music, and you're also experimenting.
and so
with music.
That's funny you say that because I fully expected to have music done, and I know that Yeg is out there wondering, do I get Christmas music this year? And so I guess I'm hoping his thought train is, well, I know if you're working on it, I'll eventually get it. And so, yes, Yeg, you will eventually get some Spaceboy Christmas music.
It might be March, but
Yeah, but it will be coming. It's just lately I've been experimenting. I got the experimental bug. And
so Spaceboy music may come back as a one-night thing when we get you some new stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting.
We'll have like a highlight party,
a new album out before I actually get back to doing it.
Yeah, we should do a broadcast like on a Friday night or something where we just have like a release party. A listening party.
Mm-hmm. So at some point we kind of brought the old Spaceboy Music Night back for the SBU, and we played music that night and chat with the Space Cadets and had a good time. And that was cool. And then, of course, that following Saturday, we talked to Dan McFarlane. And
another righteous dude,
a skater. We met him at Maker Faire, and we talked about skating and skateboarding, VR, and
skating in VR.
And he kind of gave us the 411 about what he's doing, and that was really kind of a cool show because once again it was tapping into me as a younger man, and the style and hanging out with the kids and. At that time, and so it just really was kind of reminiscing of something from the past, but also talking about what you've hammered all through this year was going to be VR, and it definitely showed in Maker Faire, and then when we brought him on talking about that, so.
And you told me the other night the price of the Oculus Rift is coming down. Not a lot, but it's getting down there.
I think it's $399. I think
it's still too much.
It's still a little bit much, but it's getting there. I mean, I think once it reaches that threshold of a reasonable price, and I guess that's the ultimate question: what is a reasonable price?
$199.
Yeah, $199.99.
And 4 easy installments.
But wait, don't order now. You'll get a free Gitsu knife and a smokeless ashtray. Don't order now. So anyway, that is the deal.
You gave me a flashback.
I know, right? Didn't I?
Do you remember
Mr. Popel?
Well, no. Do you remember? This is the 80s with the answer machine things, the answer machine raps.
Right.
They'd play someone would call and it would play this stupid little rap song. Wait for the beat. They actually included that in the history of rap that I saw Fallon and Timberlake do.
Really?
Isn't that funny?
So, just to wrap this whole thing in review up, as I said, Patrick Spohr came back on in December, and it was great to talk to him. Hey, Patrick, I don't know if you're listening. I want to let you know that I finally saw the show on Netflix, Bright. I actually enjoyed it. I know that you were but I enjoyed it. Don't hate me, Patrick. So there it is, for what it's worth. And Sirlana, did you just hang up on that person?
I accidentally hung up on a caller. Sorry.
So anyway,
call back.
We had another electronic leftovers where we talked about various things, and here we are. It's December 23rd, and we're talking about just everything that we've done this year, and that's kind of pretty much what we've done. And so next Saturday will be the last show of the year when we'll be talking about our prediction show.
It'll be our prediction show.
Prediction show. So,
Caller, please call back. I am having a spastic time. I'm trying to get over this stupid headache. And, okay, sorry about that. Oh, and it's Donna.
Uh-oh. Donna? Is she on the phone yet?
Donna?
Donna?
Donna, you there?
Oh.
Hello, Donna?
Donna? Oh.
You're almost there, Donna.
Me? Yeah, my headphone didn't work. Sorry
Okay,
about
sorry. I was being a spaz before. Sorry about that, Donna.
Oh, it's okay. And then suddenly my phone started acting up. It's been happening all week.
Well, Donna, you know the show is credited to you tonight, right?
Yep, you said so. I believed you.
So, in the true spirit, we felt like, hey, we can't let Donna down. Let's do a show this Saturday night. And Solana was like, I don't know. I don't think Donna's worth it. I said, what? I said, Donna's definitely worth it.
Oh, my God. You're getting... Don't fall asleep tonight. That's all I have to tell you. Don't fall asleep.
I want you to know, if I'm sleeping with one eye open, it's not my lazy eye.
Well, I think you better sleep with both eyes open.
Sorry. Oops. He's already in trouble for some smack he was talking last night.
For what did I do last night?
On Solaris' show.
So tell us, Donna, give us a scoop. I know you're full of information, and how's it going tonight, and what's going on?
Oh, this has been a strange week. Did anybody else have problems on Thursday? I went out to get my mushroom cheeseburger, bacon burger.
Ooh.
With onion rings and a big dill pickle. I went to use my phone. It was dead. Even though it was charged when I left in the morning, by an hour later it was dead.
Wow.
Just no battery at all.
Is this Android or iPhone?
It is an Android.
Okay.
So, I had to charge it after it was so weird because it was fully charged when I left home. It just was zapped. And apparently other people have had that problem.
Well,
I'm having that problem, but there is something actually wrong with my phone.
Interesting you bring the subject matter up with phones in general, because iPhone has just admitted that they were throttling their phone, the connection speed down, so with the batteries that were not able to be fully charged. And so they would slow down the iPhone on purpose. And so many people thought, well, it's getting old and I just need to replace it, when in fact just replacing the battery on the iPhone fixes the issue.
It's beyond battery help.
Yeah, but mine's a brand new phone. I just got it.
Yeah, well, that's bizarre. With these smartphones, to be honest with you, Donna, it's I hate going all conspiracy theory. It's makes me wonder if they're listening to us at any given time, and that's when we experience these battery drains that go completely dead out of nowhere.
You know that thing Solaris mentioned about they have drones that can fly over and send, they could do something to your mind, and it would be gone, and you can't trace it.
Yeah, I believe it. And I live right near the actual military drone training center in Arizona. And they're always putting the drones out here. But, also last week, this is really weird. We had all these planes coming over us, big transport planes. And it was around the time that UFO sighting was across Colorado and northern Texas and through there. And we had all this movement going on here, right at the border. Because I'm about 2 miles from the border of Mexico.
Wow.
And it's not the first time we've had experiences. But last year or the year before, I had the same that down at Cananea, Mexico, there was a spaceship parked over the top of it, and I called, Jimmy Church, and that's the last time I called him. But anyway, and reported it live as it was happening, and nobody really cared that it was happening.
Hey, Donna, we're at the top of the hour. Can you hold on through our break, and we'll pick it up on the other side?
Okay.
Yeah, so stand by. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to just take a quick break, just so to break up our breaks, and that's how we roll here. So don't go anywhere.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
You know, Sir Lana, everybody loves the goat. as you could see in the chat room, they except for Michelle's cat, she does not like the goat.
Well, here's what was going on during the break. Spaceboy asked Donna, said, did she have those fainting goats? And Donna said, spanking goats? I said, I want to talk about the spanking goats.
So still on the air, we have Donna with us, and so there you go. Don't feel bad, Donna. You're not alone. Apparently, even my wife can't understand me sometimes, and you know, she probably knows me better than anyone here.
Well, yeah, because I, married you and stuff.
Yes, don't make it sound like it's such a terrible thing.
Well, for those that don't know, my sister once had a goat farm in New Mexico, and I lived there and helped her with it.
I like the pygmy goats.
Mm-hmm. I like goats.
These were big goats.
Yeah.
These were the biggest goats that you can get. The male was like 140 pounds, 150 pounds.
Wow.
And then the females, they were about 80 to 90 pounds. I had one of them hit me so hard it cracked my ribs.
Ooh.
Yeah. I didn't like the goats that much, personally.
Well, the goats remind me of a good time. I'm from, small town Bandera, Texas. And, a friend of mine had a ranch, and he had horses, a couple of donkeys, and some chickens, and definitely some goats. And so I enjoyed going over to his house, and, I'd help him, feed some of the animals sometimes. And it just brings back some nice memories. Of course, I never got hit by a goat. But I've heard some wicked tales out there about...
I'll be journeying on Monday by myself. Up to about 40 minutes away, and my friend has horses, rescue horses, 2 miniature ponies, and a donkey,
and a partridge.
And all waiting for me to come up there and pet them. So,
oh, that's nice. That's nice.
That's where I'm going to go, and I'm going to have my Cajun catfish Christmas.
So, what's your holidays looking like, Donna?
I don't celebrate holidays.
You don't?
No,
just every other day, huh? I think.
Well, every day is special when you're my age.
Well, you're still young.
No, I left young long ago.
I feel like I have too.
Oh my goodness!
We talked about that last night. How he's not aging. Dorian Gray here doesn't look much older than when I met him. And, you know, for that, I should just slap him vigorously every morning.
Well, I feel like she keeps slapping me because I'm losing hair off the back of my head.
Yeah, I slapped the back of your head. So.
Well, if it goes the way that most people go, one day you'll wake up and he will look about 20 years older than you.
Well, that would be lovely.
Donna, you're really bumming me out, man.
I try to help. What can I say?
Well, Donna, we appreciate you here at the Universe, and we're glad that you could spend time with us this weekend, and we owe this show to you. And so, as an official jester, everyone, thank Donna for the show tonight, because we were just going to replay a best of episode, but we decided to just chin up and grin and bear it. And but it's been a good show, and we thank you, Donna, for pushing us over the edge.
You're welcome. Love you guys, and also everybody listening. At least call in and say hi. Come on, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, we can't bite you. It's just not possible.
Not everybody can be like Donna and Bev, so you just
now
go
let's
ahead.
Give Bev a break. Come on, people.
Go ahead and call in. We've got time, and. We'd love to hear from everybody, and at least Donna called in. That's always a treat. So, Donna, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you, too.
Love everybody in the audience, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. So, there you go. Donna called in. And always a treat to hear from somebody else out there.
Yes, a different space.
And let me backtrack here. It's not that we don't love Bev. And it's just, why does Bev have to carry the water for everybody?
I know.
I mean,
don't put the burden on her.
When was the last time we even heard from Yeg? I mean, come on. It's been forever and a day. I mean, are you mad at me?
Now, we talked about this. If we had a call-in show and there's only 1 or 2 call-ins, we would go down the list of each space cadet and we would start talking about them individually. And whether it's good or not will be, I guess, up to how good you've been all year.
You know, since it's the 1 year that Fran actually listens to the show, you would think Fran would call in.
She said she's not calling in, so we should stop talking about her and making her famous.
I mean, can K28 find a closet to call us to make sure that
Hey now, be kind.
I'm just saying, you know, he makes his calls from secret locations. I think he's a superhero and he doesn't tell anybody.
I think he thinks he's a train man. Yeah, so I'm going, I swear I'm going Monday. I'm going, not that I'm going to eat all these things, but they're going to have beignets, catfish, etouffee, seafood bisque, dirty rice, garlic bread, homemade rolls, hush puppies, beignets, bourbon spice toffee cake, chocolate sheet cake, and of course, sweet tea. So
and you're bringing the sarcasm.
You can all just die of envy. You wish you had a Christmas meal this epic.
I'm actually enjoying my day off.
Yeah, he doesn't come with me because he doesn't go to other people's houses that he doesn't know. So there you go.
It's not like I do know Leanne. I really don't want to go into this subject matter, but it's just that I hate having to drive a long way somewhere and be out of my element.
But you did that to go to see your sister. That was a long way.
And how long was it since I seen my sister?
Oh, I have no idea.
It's been a long time.
But my sister's going to be there, so.
Well, enjoy yourself.
I'm going to.
I'm going
to take pictures and I'm going to post them.
Thanks
and I'm going to rub it in your face.
You're already rubbing it in my face.
And you're going to wish you. And I'm not bringing home leftovers just because, you know, you're a little snot.
Whatever. I'll probably go to Denny's and have some Christmas dinner by myself.
Oh, whatever.
And listen to Charlie Brown music.
Whatever.
So anyway, can you pick up the show since you put us into a rut?
Hey, since we're talking about 2017, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to know the 20 worst movies of 2017?
Try me.
According to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, who doesn't know Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 20 of the worst ones of this year, Ghost in the Shell.
What? Okay, I take a slight offense to that because I thought it was well done, considering, and you're giving me the sign that there's
Should we take a call?
Go ahead.
Number 20 of the worst. Hi, it's Fran.
Hey, Bev.
You are horrible.
I know.
And you have every right to be.
Oh, I do.
Let me turn down your...
Turn down your radio. Turn down your radio. Yeah. First time caller, you're on the air.
First time caller. In a while.
A long while, Fran.
Yeah. I love you guys.
We've just missed
really
you, and we just wanted to pick on you because that's what we do best.
Well, of course. And, you know, last CITV, the kids there decided they would do a hashtag.
Yeah.
At It's Fran's Fault.
Really?
Yes. And I went, yeah, anything that goes wrong, it's my fault. So nobody else has to bear the brunt of anything.
Well, that's kids
Don't you
today.
think that's a good idea?
Blaming you for everything, Fran?
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that.
I feel no guilt. So it's all good.
Well, we're just pleased that you could be with us tonight, and missed you. And I was just like, anytime somebody goes away for a while, or maybe you take a social media sabbatical, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But we always wonder in the back of our heads, like, do they just not like us anymore?
Did we do something, or did we say something wrong?
No, not even close. It was all me.
Okay. No problem.
At Fran's fault.
had a whole lot of stuff going on and still do, but I'm tuning in more and more now. And
because
I'm so excited.
I'd like to say that we're trying to build an audience, and
when we get back in the new year, I've been through some kind of, I don't know what you'd call it, Fran, just slump. And so when we get back to the new year, I'm going to step up. I'm going to get back to my level of research and putting forth show topics. I got 2 in my mind right now, and we got to get more aggressive finding some guests. We really need that. So we're not going to be slowing down. We're going to try to renew and reinvigorate ourselves for the new year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, excellent. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is get back into the groove and, be more assertive and sociable. Because that's what I had done, was I had quit being sociable for months.
Some people need that. Some people need to detox and regroup. And Spaceboy and I don't have that luxury of getting away from social media because we do this, right?
It's a part of our thing.
But I can see how that's very healthy to do for oneself. I'd like to do that too. But I'm very careful about posting too personal on like my personal Facebook, and I don't do anything political. I don't do anything of opinion. Maybe I'll gripe about something at work, like SharePoint or something, but I try to keep it fairly neutral, so I don't get into that.
I have that big F-bomb for SharePoint.
Oh, Lord.
And I don't even know what it is.
Fran, if I ever meet SharePoint in a dark alley, it's gone.
That doesn't need to be in your life. Yeah, you better beat the crap out of it in a dark alley.
SharePoint and Mercury. If I ever see that planet alone in a dark alley, I'm punching it in the face.
No, in the throat.
Yes, it's at the throat.
Do planets have throats?
Well, you could make it happen, Solana.
Punch it in the throat.
On a throat punch Thursday.
Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that I love you, and I wanted to wish you all a Merry Christmas. And, not being a religious person or doting on holidays of any kind, and I know you might, so Merry Christmas.
We appreciate that.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
Well, we missed you.
Always will.
Well, that's good to know. That makes us feel better.
Right.
You mean the world to us too, Fran. So.
I am not giving Mercury a taco. No, I'm not doing it.
Okay. Well, that's all I wanted to tell you is I have not forgotten you. I love you guys. I was just in my zone.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you got whatever it was you needed.
Well, hopefully you're you're circling back into our universe, and we'll look forward to seeing you.
I orbit.
Yeah, so I understand.
It might be a long elliptical orbit.
But it's here for you when you come around.
Yes, you betcha. And I love that. Thank you.
Anytime.
Okay. Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Have a good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, now, Ty, it's your turn. He was calling. Hey, it's Due Sky.
That is in the chat room, that is.
It's in the chat room.
I guess, what did my arm twisting
help? It's just that I can only do one at a time.
I understand.
On Skype till we can get
back
our call center
back
up working. That's more of like we're trying to rebuild it with financially. So, that probably will happen after the new year. Yeah,
so we'll probably be back to our call center. But until then, we're doing the old straight to Skype number, and that's the way to do it. There he is. Yeah. And
sorry about that, Ty. I can only do one at a time.
Well, that's okay.
Hey, it's Ty. Here you go. Virtual hug, bro.
Oh, hugs to you guys too.
Fist bump.
We need some warm hugs up here.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. So what's the weather like right now?
Oh, well, for Christmas Day, it's going to be minus 20 Celsius.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a traditional Canadian Christmas. and we practically had a blizzard today.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a white Christmas for us.
Well, that's cool. At least.
We had just a dusting of snow a week or two ago, and it was the most shocking thing we'd seen in a while. And we had a hurricane, so
yeah, weather was pretty interesting this year.
it was like Houston had a little frosting. We had frosting.
It was
everything.
just enough to make it look like it was magical, and then of course by the afternoon, everything was green.
It was gone in 3 hours.
Yeah, it was like nothing ever happened.
You couldn't even build a snowman with it. It was just, but it was kind of sweet, But that was it. It's 45 degrees Fahrenheit right now, and that's about as exciting as it's going to get.
We've had our 1 day of winter.
Yeah, literally 1 day of winter for Southeast Texas, and it's done.
So, Ty, how have you been, man? I mean, I feel like we haven't heard from you in ever, and we've missed you here. I mean, we I know I constantly see you on Facebook, and it's great to exchange things and your favorite things that I put up, and just let us know what's going on. What's been going on, my friend?
Well, I'm doing very well, actually. Thank you very much. This month marks the 15th year that I've had my renal transplant, so I'm doing well with that.
Good.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah, the average is 8 years, so 7 years to the good.
Wow. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We're glad.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I get good taken care of, so.
That other guy is pretty decent, huh?
Oh, yeah, that other guy, yeah.
And the cats are good?
Oh, yeah, I'm surprised Boson isn't meowing right now. He's always talking.
Well, during a break, I went to take care of some business, and our cat is actually in our room ready for us to go to bed. Yeah, she's like,
I am not putting up with this stuff. I'm getting my spot claimed now before y'all get in here, and I'm not moving.
Yeah, that's what they'll do.
She's cold. I mean, she's the one wearing a fur coat, and she's cold in the house. Yeah, the other guy.
Dennis just chimed in. So did you get the chance to see Star Wars yet?
No, I haven't done that yet. I'm waiting for the crowds to kind of taper off a bit,
I think I'm like you too. It's just waiting for things to taper off. But at the same time, I've kind of reviewed things just so that I have something to talk to anybody about the show, and given a kind of a semi-quasi opinion about things. But the
opinions have been really mixed.
They have, and this hasn't been a very strong Star Wars, but it's still going to make some money, not some of the previous ones, but I think that maybe what's going to happen is that once we get to the final chapter of this saga, then it'll be like, oh, okay, because this movie, it's being described kind of more like a transitional. It's not great. It's a good movie. It's not great, but it's a good movie. It's a Star Wars movie.
It's like an MCU movie, like Thor or something that's just trying to get you further along into the bigger,
Yeah. Well, I heard it made like $420 million on the first weekend.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and it's like it's making some money. It's not like it's going to go anywhere. It's still backed by Disney, and I guess we'll see what happens.
And now Disney has the entire MCU.
Well, except for
Spider-Man.
It's owned by Sony.
But they've got a cordial relationship with Sony.
Oh, yeah. They're making money.
Oh, yeah, hand over fist.
Oh, exactly.
What did you think, Ty, about Tarantino doing some Star Trek?
I'm a little up in the air on that one because I heard it's going to be R-rated, and I got a feeling he's going to go towards the Klingon part of it to do his peck and paw sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of up in the air. I've heard he's confirmed, so we'll have to see. He said he had a good idea, so...
That's so strange. Why would he want to be involved in the Trek world?
Well, I think he's mentioned before how he's wanted in the past to do something Trek
But
related.
what's his street cred with Trek? Does he go all the way back to old school? Does he know all of them? Has he read any of the books? You know, where does he get off other than being Quentin Tarantino?
What do you think what's going to happen with Discovery? Star Trek Discovery.
You know,
I'm gonna let Space Boy
I've been
handle
kind
that.
of reviewing I guess the first 9 episodes that's been on CBS online, and you know, to kind of give it a chance to breathe now, and I'm still kind of like, okay, I'm ready for the other half of the season to commence. And
Well, it's
see
intriguing. You said to me, we were talking, you know, because we're married, we talk off
we do.
show.
Yeah, when the mic goes off, we go
sometimes
into
we
our
talk,
own
you know,
corners.
occasionally. But you intrigued me. Like there's a speculation that everything that's happened in that show up till now is like kind of AU, and maybe they're about to intersect with the canon universe through the technology they have.
That's kind of the idea I'm getting at, or coming to conclusions, because what they said before the show started is that it is in the canon universe. It's the Prime universe, and
You're right, but where's the evidence of this?
Yeah, where's the evidence?
Because the Klingons don't look like,
unless
they're in that transitional phase from Enterprise where they got sick, and you know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see once we get to the second half of Star Trek Discovery, are best known as STD.
Well, the other guy just said in chat that this Discovery has said past Star Trek casts from all shows will make appearances. So they plan on being around long enough to get them all in there.
Well, we'll see. I know that Patrick Stewart said you know he would be on board if they could do a movie where all different
now
people.
That would be something special for us, the fans, but would it be commercially and critically acclaimed? Because you know they want as much money as possible, so maybe they don't pander to hardcore fans because maybe there's not enough of us to pay for it, which is stupid. But okay, I won't get on that tangent.
Well, only time will tell. But in the end, Ty, I've kind of, the Star Trek Discovery has kind of grown on me, and I guess it just took kind of watching it again, and I'll probably watch it again, and then who knows how much more it'll grow, and go from there. But I'm reading in the chat the theory about the alternative universe is being said. Hold on, I'm reading
the fan theories are wrong.
They're wrong. So it's something interesting's coming in this second half, and I'm just looking forward to it because I'm actually paying for it. So I better be looking forward to it. But at least
I'm paying for it. It better be good.
It better be good. So we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm looking very much looking forward to it.
It's very unfortunate abbreviation, STD.
Maybe it's ST:D. That might be better.
I guess if we're putting the colon in
Enterprise
there.
was never Star Trek. Enterprise was always just Enterprise. Yeah.
But anyway, Ty, we appreciate you calling in, and
even if we had to guilt trip y'all into doing it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, I guess guilt tripping usually works when you call people out by name, and
okay, let's go down the list. Who's next?
But
I was gonna call in anyway, actually, because I wanted to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, and you too, Ty, and that somebody else that takes care of you too, and once again, we thank the world of both of y'all, and we appreciate y'all, and so you have a warm spot in our hearts here, and someday you'll get some Christmas music.
Well, I know you're working on it, so that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. So
it's my goal. I don't know how to do it, but someday to actually meet y'all. I don't know how that would ever happen, but we'd like to meet all the space cadets, but especially the hardcore core ones that have been.
Hardcore.
Well, it might happen in the future. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Cool.
Never say never.
Because this is an international hub.
It is. Houston, that is.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, have a good one, Ty, and stay warm.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll get a warm snap after Christmas. Sorry for sending down the polar vortex down to you guys there.
We're barely getting it. It's not anything. I mean, I've seen people. It's like in the 40s. Not even wearing jackets.
Okay, so you guys have a great holiday, and you take care, eh?
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, we love those guys.
Yes, we do.
Both of them.
So, Sirlana, we're at the bottom of the hour.
Wow, it's gone really well.
It's gone
for having
quick.
no plans.
No, sometimes the best no plans are the best plans in the world.
I'll get back into that list if y'all are interested after the break.
So yeah, here we go. Stand by.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sirlana.
Well, with time, it's all relative. And, man, our relativity is kicking into overdrive. It just seems like this show is just cruising on by, and it's fun. It's been a good show. We've had a good weekend so far. Like I said, with Solaris Blue Raven when we did her show yesterday. We had a good time, and tonight's been great hanging out with all the space cadets and seeing some old faces, some new faces, and casual, everyday faces, and so it's all good.
I got my little glass of Bailey's and whipped cream now. I'm ready to roll.
With the last 20 minutes of the show.
Want me to get back to the list, or do you have something you'd want to get into?
No, I was just shooting the breeze, okay. But if you want to go ahead and bring whatever. Anyway, so I was going to say, you brought up, what was the movie you just brought up?
Well, the 20 worst movies of 2017, number 20 is Ghost in the Shell.
I don't buy that because I thought it was a good movie.
They said it was a shame that this is the live-action version. Failed on many levels. The story was stripped of all its thematic resonance and whitewashed.
See, I think it was the whitewashing that made certain people mad. And can't we just watch a movie and not be like,
no, we got to pick it apart for every little thing.
But I liked it. I thought it was visually pleasing, and I'm not just saying that because of Scarlett Johansson, but I digress.
She is visually pleasing. Number 19, Justice League.
Well, I don't think I need to say much on that matter, and we can move on to the next one. 18,
Jigsaw. Number 17, Monster Trucks.
Whoa, who would
never
have
heard of
that?
it? Sorry, I set my glass down and it made that whole thing vibrate. 16, Wonder Wheel, which I've never heard of. 15, A Bad Mom's Christmas. Never heard of it.
Oh, I have.
Number 14, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Never heard of it.
I heard that was not so great either.
13, The Book of Henry. Never heard of it. I didn't even know this existed. Number 12, Underworld, Blood Wars. They're still cranking those out.
Yeah, they did, and I was surprised that I knew that it was coming, and then that was the last I heard of it. So I guess they tried to bury that with the Lycans and all that stuff.
And I mean, is this any wonder this is on a bad movie list? Number 11, Daddy's Home 2, starring Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
What? That is an awesome movie.
You are going to see a doctor as soon as the holidays are over.
There are movies that are bad, and when they're bad, they're good. The Room is one of those movies. It's so bad that it's good.
Well, it's cult now.
Plan 9 from Outer Space is another classic that's so bad it's good.
Well, I can only watch that if someone's making fun of it.
So anyway, please continue.
Now, top 10 worst movies of 2017. Number 10, All Eyes on Me, and that's spelled E-Y-E-Z because it's hip. And this is supposedly, I heard about this, is actually supposed to be the Tupac Shakur biopic.
It's interesting you bring that up because I was watching a review about that, and although it had the potential to be a great movie,
it missed it somehow.
It missed it because the comparison that they were making was with Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, they said it didn't do justice to Tupac.
It didn't have the flavor. He had the look, but it just did not live up to the hype. Inept
dialogue, complete waste of the leading man, who is the spitting image of Shakur, which is Demetrius Shipp Jr. And he says the lack of acting experience was evident.
Did the cocaine plane just land outside?
Did you hear that too?
God, I was like...
that was a helicopter.
Was it a helicopter?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what just landed outside our front yard?
Something just flew over our house.
Okay, anyway.
Number 9 of the 20 worst movies of 2017, The House, which this is a Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler thing.
Oh, okay.
Number 8, now I'm sure people may have some feelings about number 8, which is The Dark Tower, which is a Stephen King adaptation, which I didn't see, I didn't read, so I don't really know.
It kind of ties all the universes together, this was a film that was kind of in limbo for the longest time, waiting to get made, and then finally made it, and it didn't live up to the expectation of certain fans.
They said it was incomprehensible, poorly staged, didn't have any of the grandeur, the scope of the novel.
Right.
Most things don't. Oh, you're here finally. Number 7, The Mummy. And what just happened over there?
She just about took off with my phone.
Holy crap.
Anyway, let's get back on track.
Number 7, The Mummy, and this is
Tom
Cruise Mummy.
I guess, is this Tom Cruise fatigue, I guess?
Yeah.
And,
Now, the gal that plays the Mummy,
Mm-hmm.
she's a good actress. She was in Star Trek Beyond as the lead female alien.
She was also in Atomic Blonde, too.
She was, and she was in the first Kingsman film.
Mm-hmm. Now, the thing about the Mummy thing is that apparently, Universal owns the rights to these classic monster movies.
Monster movies like Frankenstein and Mummy.
And they desperately are trying to make their own...
reboots.
Well, not necessarily reboots, but their own universe thing. Monster universe is what they're calling them,
they're trying to
cash in on this Universal thing that Marvel has created. And so it didn't go well because, and then a lot of people were like, well, what about Brendan Fraser? And,
Brendan, the ones where he was in, those were enjoyable. They were more like, slightly more family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like an Indiana Jones epic fun adventure. Whereas this one was supposed to be scare the pants off of you type of thing.
And today I was reading something about Brendan Fraser. It just kind of...
it's sad.
It's sad. It's just...
You just want to give him a hug. You're like, God,
exactly.
I'm sorry, Brendan.
Yeah, can you bring it in? I feel bad. You need a hug, man.
Brendan Fraser, if you're out there, call us. We'll give you a hug.
Yeah.
We like you.
We do.
It's a shame. Anyway, number 6, Transformers: The Last Night, which I can't believe they're still cranking these things out.
You remember the epic rap videos where it shows all the directors?
Yeah.
It's all about the money.
Yeah.
And so
the very
Michael
first
Bay,
one they did was good. I liked it. And it's like, okay, that's enough. With Shia LaBeouf.
It's all about the money, man.
Yeah. Why? Just, it said it pulled in $605 million. The budget for it was $217 million. So
it made money.
It made money, but why?
It wasn't a strong showing.
Now, number 5, I thought number 5 should be a lot higher on this list of worst movies. Number 5 is the Emoji Movie.
Oh, that should be number 1.
Yeah. It's dry and a desperate attempt to try to cash in on this postmodern world we live in with emojis. It was trying to be some kind of indictment of the industry, but it just didn't. It missed the mark, and it was just a very bad movie, very bad premise.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even heard of number 4. Number 4? Sorry, the Baileys is kicking in. It's good. Number 4, The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing that because I've seen the first one and I enjoyed the first one. I guess, is it Will Arnett? He does the lead character. I can't think of his name, but it has a pug in the movie. You know, I love pugs.
Mm-hmm. But it said it's just one of these kid movies that...
It is a kid movie.
I guess you're not really supposed to pay attention. Number 3 is something called Rings.
This is like the third one in that American version?
This is the American version of the Japanese horror remake. You remember the movie The Ring, which is based on a very famous Japanese horror movie, which did okay. That did okay. It was kind of groundbreaking. Mm-hmm. But Rings is, they said, a cynical cash grab. It doesn't even attempt to come close to the relevance of The Ring. And it made... it just failed to deliver at every turn. So it was sort of like a straight-to-video movie, which is probably why we heard of it. Number 2 of the top 20 worst movies of this year. I don't know why I'm laughing. Tyler Perry's Boo 2, A Medea Halloween.
That is... I like Tyler Perry's movies when he does Medea. That I cannot believe it. Those are pretty funny.
But yeah, it's they're saying it's unnecessary and unfunny. So And number 1, worst movie of 2017, Just Getting Started, which I've never heard of. They said it was a lazy attempt at counter-programming from writer-director Ron Shelton. Squanders an A-list cast with a solid premise, disinterest in the very media film. It's Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, and Ray Russo are better than this. It had all the finesse of an Adam Sandler movie.
What?
I'm on ScreenRant.com, by the way.
Okay.
And it's clear the cast was only there to be paid. They're all completely uninterested in the film. And the only reason to watch this is to observe Tommy Lee Jones' active disinterest in being on camera. His spiteful contempt for the movie is clearly visible in every scene, and it's a sight to behold. Never heard of that movie either.
Actually, you say a lot of these movies you haven't heard, which is probably true. I've seen, because I watch every trailer. You know that, right? I mean, I'm like flipping through Amazon. Okay, let me see this trailer. Let me see that trailer. We're on YouTube. Hey, there's a trailer. Let me see that trailer.
I'm more into trailers now than I used to because they will show me if this is going to be worth my time.
Right, exactly. And then you know what I hate about some trailers that they show, Sirlana, is that when they show a trailer and it's like the first 30 seconds of the movie.
You're like, well, what am I supposed to do with my life now?
Well, the thing is, what it bugs me is...
It doesn't tell you anything.
It doesn't tell me anything. Or it's the first 30 seconds, and out of that 30 seconds, you've seen 20 seconds of the intro of the movie. And that doesn't tell me anything. So, I hate the trailers like that. Like, they were just... Somebody didn't care enough to promote their movie.
If you go to Amazon Video, and we're just like, okay, let's watch a trailer to see if this is something we're interested in. And it's usually a movie that didn't go to the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, there's not a trailer for it out there on social media or YouTube. So you have to watch it right there. I'm like, so you go to click the trailer and it is the first minute of the movie. I'm like, well, that doesn't tell me anything.
I've been thinking about doing this. When I worked for Blockbuster many years ago, we were entitled to so many rents per week, free rents. And so what I was doing was just kind of going down the line on the wall, or on the stand-up things, displays, and I would go, just one movie after another, pick 5 out of that row, and then the next week I get the next row. So how is this? What I'm thinking about doing now is on Amazon with Amazon Prime. They're free to. We have Prime.
Mm-hmm. There's a ton of stuff on Prime now.
Just going down each one, watching it, and probably pushing more movie reviews. Hey, I saw this movie today, or hey, I saw that movie today, and just kind of give my 2 cents about it, and kind of promote movies out there, more obscure, not necessarily new releases. So. But that's what I'm thinking about doing.
Feeling good now.
Well, good for you. I'm glad.
Here's something you might be interested in.
What's that?
Excuse me. Told you, feeling good. MGM has released a new trailer for their next digital TV series, Stargate Origins.
Mm-hmm. They
confirmed it will premiere online February of next year.
Right.
So I don't know how you feel about having more Stargate in your life.
Well, the thing is that with this particular the Stargate thing, and to watch it, their thing is you spend $20, and it's a one-time fee from what I heard. You get to see all of the original, the original Stargate, the SG-1, the Atlantis. I know I'm missing a series in there.
Well,
Stargate Universe. Free access, and then you get entitled to watch the new series.
Well, this is odd. This is odd from what they're describing this new stuff is. Okay. Mm-hmm. Origins will be a 10-episode series. Get this. Each episode will last only 10 minutes.
Really?
It will be set in the year 1928.
Right.
And, well, we're going to have to stop there because
we have
an important caller.
Okay. Caller, you're on the air.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to Bev.
Hey.
Like clockwork.
Hey, Bev, I'm buzzed.
Hey, drink one for me.
Okay. I have to go refill.
Are you a happy drunk?
She's getting there.
Yeah, I'm.
Hopefully, we close the show before it turns into sweet
right
sarcasm.
Now, I'm quite pleased. Let's just put it that way. So.
Bob always calls me a cheap date because
me
it only
too.
takes me 3.
Yeah, this is number 1. Of course, it was a healthy dose, and I might get one more dose before I go to bed. We just need some pancakes.
I didn't want to miss.
calling in saying Merry Christmas.
Well, I got worried that I might have scared you off. We didn't. It wasn't our intention.
We just
to
didn't
scare
want you to bear the burden of calling and be the only caller, you know.
That's why I was just letting people call. I figured I'd save me to the last.
Oh, yes.
The best for last.
Best for last. The Bev for last.
I'm starting to slur.
The Bev for last.
Saving the Bev for last.
'Cause I'm saving Bev for last tonight.
Well, that was terrible.
I'm sorry. Don't
He's
sign.
not been
my
drinking.
God.
That's just how he
that's,
is.
that's normal, Space Boy.
I was going to ask him how many he's had.
No, I haven't had a drink in a long time. In fact, to be honest with you, it hasn't been since Contact in the Desert, when I tried to keep up with a certain somebody that we know out there, and drink per drink, I kept up with him.
Let's just say, did you find your way to bed that night?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did really well. Tell you what, the last time we were in the desert, that was the closest I've ever come in my entire life of being drunk. I was like right up to the edge of drunk and not quite. I didn't cross that line, but that's the closest I've ever come.
And you know, with me, it's like I don't want to say I have a high tolerance for liquor, but
no, you're pretty good.
You know,
considering you're, you know.
Yeah, I can do the liquor thing,
but he does it. We don't do it often. We can't work alcohol into our lifestyle. It's just not practical.
It's not practical.
So when we have it, it has to be a special occasion, or we have to plan for it. Like, I'm going to be off all next week, so why not have a little something, you know?
And with me, I hate to say it, I've just, mentally it takes everything I have to just stay in control. And if I went down the alcohol thing, it's cumbersome. It interferes with my life.
Yeah.
Not to say I don't like it. It's not to say I don't like it, and not to discourage anybody. I mean, given an opportunity, when I have the flexibility and I'm not working a job and then trying to produce the universe, you know, I would say, I would have a cold one.
That's nasty.
You just don't really have the time, right?
I don't. I mean, but I guess that works into my health favors, you know. So
we're not teetotalers. We're just busy. I don't know how people. I don't know how alcoholics do it.
Well, most people they don't have a radio show they produce on the weekends like we do, and
God, we're such squares.
And
I know.
you know, I mean, we are really busy people. I mean, when I get home, I feel guilty just going to my own personal computer and like to play a game, or even writing music has been difficult because we've just been so busy.
Get your hand away from the front of your face.
Look, don't tell me what to do.
Well, that's not good for radio.
Look, you just mind your own business.
Sound like you're being taken hostage.
So anyway, but there you go.
Are you doing it again?
See what you started, Bev?
What, do you have bad breath or something?
Look, I'm rubbing my eyes.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeez Louise, man. He said, you're too far from the mic. Well, you're muffling your voice.
Yeah, when you're reclining in your recliner over there and you're 20 feet away, that's, you know, I can't hear you.
This isn't 20 feet away.
It makes for bad radio. See, there you go.
There you
how
go.
Do you
now we're both unprofessional.
I don't see how rubbing my eyes makes a difference. Thanks for calling.
Because it was over your mouth. God.
When you're
I must be a bad influence.
When you're over there picking your nose.
We're just comfortable with
picking
you.
your nose. I don't tell the audience you're picking your nose.
God.
Oh, God. You just...
He's
going for the jugular now. I mean, there's things I could say. There's things I could say, but, you know,
well,
I'm going to be the better person.
Well, I hope that you're not thinking of anything in particular, because then, you know, there will be grounds of a big fight then.
Yeah, a real one.
Uh-oh.
So, would you like to put this frown on?
Go to your prospective corners.
Put a smile on this frown, Bev?
Put a cherry on the cake. Put a cherry on this pie, Bev.
You what?
So you need to put a cherry on this pie, Bev. Give us something good.
That's right.
So, what's your holiday plans?
Oh, well, we had one dinner already. We went over to his aunt's, and got the whole family together. First time we've been together since his grandma died.
Mm-hmm.
That's been 10 years, so the family has grown since then. We had a very nice day today, and Monday we're going to over to his brother's and having Christmas there, and his nephew that moved to Wisconsin is in, so this will be his first Christmas we've had with them in 2 years now.
Awesome.
So, looking forward to that. Oh,
That's
Christmas
good.
is always a busy season.
It is, and especially when the families become big and they're scattered all over the place. You want to bless everybody with your presence, and it's a little difficult at times, and it's hard. It
is. It's very hard, and it's we can't buy for everybody, but and everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm. True, it's a different time, that we live in.
Right.
It's one thing that if it's just you, and if you have kids, it's the kids, or if it's you and your significant other, giving the gifts, we shouldn't be forced to have to give gifts to everyone.
Right, and if you stop and think about it, that's not really what Christmas is about.
The best I can do is give the gift of my presence of myself. So that's what I'm going to do Monday.
Yep.
Like, I'm here.
That's
You should be grateful.
Right.
Now feed me.
Yeah. No.
Exactly.
Now bring the food out now before something bad happens.
Peasants.
Oh, bring out
the food.
Big and pudding.
That's exactly what I'm going to be like. Bring the fish. Come on, let's do it.
So. Anyway,
I've never had Cajun food.
Really? Well, I mean, you're all the way up in Ohio, so
Yeah, you probably would.
I'm
don't worry,
sure,
Bev.
I'm sure there's something in Ohio that we haven't had down here.
So just check Facebook when, all through Monday, and I'll be taking pictures of all the food.
So Bev,
to rub it in.
Is there anything special up there that y'all eat that we might not eat in this part of the country?
Well, I don't think so. We just have ham on Christmas and mashed potatoes and gravy and scalp corn. Got to have scalp corn. Love scalp corn. All kinds of desserts. Pecan pies, pumpkin pie, strawberry pie.
A lot of pie. Well,
and we have cakes too.
That's always good too. Well, Bev, you've reached us to the end of the program. You want to give a warm holiday wishes to all the Space Cadets out there?
Merry Christmas, all you Space Cadets, and I love you all.
Bev, we love you too.
Could not have said it better.
Give Bob a big Space Boy hug.
And I'm sending virtual hugs out to everybody.
That's how we like it. Well, Bev, I guess we'll catch you next week, huh?
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Good night, Bev.
Good night. Love everybody.
Bye-bye.
And we'll be back next week with our New Year's prediction show.
Yes.
What we think will happen. So be with us again.
Be square or don't be there. But we do want you there. So see you next time on The Universe. Good night, y'all.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Executive producer is Sir Lana. Social media producer is Dennis Koch. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Mark S, and Bob N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.